Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first SoulCast podcast hosted by myself, Andyroo. Tonight, I'm joined by Andyroo.
Hello.
And Baddy.
Hello, hello.
Both of which are prolific members of the Soulcalibur EU community. One of them plays Zaz, one of them plays Taki, and I'll leave you to guess who does which. Tonight, essentially what we're going to be doing is focusing on these two as players a little bit, but also trying to delve into their lives behind the scenes. I've got a few questions that I need to ask just so we can get to know them a little bit better. But then afterwards, because Season 2 patch notes have just come out, we'll be reviewing them with these two players so that they can give us their personal takes on what they think their character's going to be, like once Season 2 hits on Monday. How are you both feeling about tonight?
Well,
Can't wait.
Yeah, what?
I was just saying, I can't wait. Like, it physically hurts me to play Season 1 right now, so I'm not even touching the game until it's coming out. Just trying to keep all these new ideas in my mind, and yeah, excited to spend a whole day labbing.
For real.
Well, I, for once, still try to enjoy a bit of Season 1, because for my character, which we go into later, are gonna be some big changes in store, and Taki's gameplay is probably gonna change a lot, right? So basically just enjoy what I currently got, and then start anew from scratch with Season 2.
Yeah, I think we're all generally excited that we're getting a Season 2. We've seen the patch notes, and on paper, we can kind of guess how our characters are going to be once they come out. But with all the new moves, our predictions and feelings may go straight out the goddamn window, because who knows how they're going to affect the gameplay and the meta. Unfortunately, it still looks like our top 5 and top 6 characters are going to stay where they are. But as long as we can bring that mid tier up with these changes and the bottom tier up as well, I'm happy that we get a balanced game. So,
yeah.
First of all, I want to get our guests to introduce themselves properly. And I'm going to start with Andyroo. So if you just want to tell us a bit about you, let us know who you are and why you're even on this podcast.
Don't know, you tell me. No, that's fine. So my name is gamer name is Andyroo, which I'm going to tell you all as a massive secret. It just means Andrew. I just thought it'd be cool and like.
Oh my god!
I know who'd have guessed that, right? Yeah, and very standard. Myself, I work part time in a call center for Sky. So telemarketing, selling TV, broadband, and all the likes. And when I'm not there, I'm with my missus. Currently, we are engaged. We've not set a date at the moment.
Woo! Congratulations!
Thank you. Shout outs to her. She listens to this.
Hope so.
And yeah, hope she's. And other than that, when I get a time, I like a bit of table tennis. I'm pretty alright at that game. I like my Pokemon. That's pretty cool too. I'm a Yu-Gi-Oh card player.
Oh my god!
And
it gets worse.
Yeah, I know. Well, everyone's just left. Just me left. But no, Soulcalibur is my main like competitive thingy that I don't know what's about it I like so much, other than it's just the idea of how fighting games work and like how you have to like think and strategize, and when you really get to that level, I don't know, there's not another experience like it. So I've been playing it for like since a very late Soulcalibur 4. Because some mates randomly, like this is how I even knew it existed. Like I was playing like Final Fantasy 4 on the DS or something, like some very random obscure game, and then like some friends came around with a copy of Soulcalibur 4 with like Yoda and Hilda and Siegfried on the front, and on the character screen, Taki, how she stands, she like stood like how one of the Final Fantasy characters did on one of the cutscenes, and I was like, oh, I've got to try her. So
Wait, so you were a Taki player?
For like 2 games, and then I was just trying to use anybody that had good low attacks and strings just to try and beat my friends.
Basically calling your character terrible, Baddy.
Yeah. I was like, oh, I'm not playing that. But technically, fun fact, Taki was the first ever style I physically touched upon in Soulcalibur 4. And it was like a little friendly rivalry. You know, we're all noobs at the game, Soulcalibur 4. And then SC5 came out, and that's when I got online. And a whole new world, man, isn't it? Like, what? You can, like, talk to these people, you can invite them to a room, and you can just play sets with them. That's incredible. Like, I don't know. Like,
the technology nowadays, eh?
I know, right? And there was just something about, like, making friends with them and talking about the game and getting owned by, like, all the better players as well. I was there, like, calling characters crap, and then someone plays them who's really good, and like, well, there's everything. Like, Max has got, I can't attack Max. He's got auto GIs like everywhere. Like, it's impossible to hit. And because I was like, how come I can't literally get an attack in when I'm trying to hit him out of his stances? What? Like, and just like slowly and steadily, like, I learn about all the characters, and eventually we learn about 8-way run, which was a big. I was like, wow, there's a whole website where. Wait, what's all these numbers? What's frames? What the hell? And then there was this guy called Drake Aldrin, who used to make like little write-ups, little guides on the game, and that was a big moment for like me learning how to see the game. Like, I still read them guides to this day. Like, it's got more nicely written up about how to play in and out on like Soulcalibur 5, and they still hold up good now, even though we're on to the next game. And I was like the way he wrote those guides were incredible. And every time a new thing came out, it was like, at that point, any information that I got, I was just starting to take and understand. And the character I played was Y. I know everyone kind of knew that fact already, but because he was kind of trashed here, and he kind of relied on gimmicks and all that to beat the opponent, like, I really had to learn how to literally play the game as, you know, as fundamentally correct as possible. And I think that just kind of helped shape up where I am today, really. Like, I finally got my hands on a great character now, arguably top 5, top 2, whatever you want to call it. But
we'll get into that later.
Yeah, we will. But man, playing Y and then playing Soulcalibur 5 it was 6 years, 2018. Like, the moment we got that announcement at the Game Awards, man, I was jumping around the room. Man. I was like, oh my god, it's fine. Yeah, it's finally happening. Like, because every year we'd be like 2015 E3, nothing. 16, nothing. Like, oh wait, no, there was this popularity poll in 2015, and we're like, oh my god, Soulcalibur's alive, and then we don't hear anything for like 2 years.
Yeah, it was a really bummer.
Time. And then when that happened in 2018, it was huge. So that's kind of my little journey to where I am now, sort of. I hope that answered your question adequately.
Yeah, that answered it pretty much as fully as I could have expected. So thank you very much, Andy. Yeah.
Thank you. No worries. I kind of went up on one. I enjoyed that.
And now on to Baddy. Give us a little introduction about yourself and your journey.
Okay, so I'm Baddy. The name comes from my first name.
Skill level? Oh, sorry. No.
Wow. Which is Sebastian, and in German it was like called Baddy in short, right? And I was like, well, English sounds cooler though, so I'm just gonna make it Baddy, and I had no idea that word actually existed. Right, and that's pretty much how I ended up with that nickname. Okay. About myself, I'm currently the owner of Soulcalibur EU, the Discord. and I'm also one of the driving forces behind the Soulcalibur EU online tournament series, which I work together with Skeeter and Phantasm. Yeah. I also am moderating the Taki Discord. I am one of the main contributors of the initial Taki Bible. Since then has been a lot of work on it now and remade by other members, which are contributing far more than I had done. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want
Nice.
me to go into depth about my upcoming as well?
Yeah, go for it. I mean, those are questions that I was going to ask later on, but it might as well go into your introduction.
All right. I've been playing video games since forever, pretty much. I think like most of the people in my generation are now. And the difference is though, for the longest time I wasn't really connected with the fighting game scene. I had played some fighting games here and there, like a few rounds at a friend's place, right? One of them was also Soulcalibur 3 and 4.
Oof.
And later on, like a few years ago or so, I met up with a friend and he had Soulcalibur 4 and I was like, hey, yeah, I want to play it a bit. And then we played it all night and it was actually really enjoyable. First, I really took the shit out on this game because of the cliche characters. One of them is Nightmare, which I found hilarious to call a character Nightmare. But it got more and more interesting as I discovered how deep this game actually is.
Right.
Yeah, so my first contact with fighting games, though, was until very recently, I think 17 or 18. It was with the release of Dragon Ball Fighters, right? So
Yes.
a friend hit me up and said, like, oh, this game is coming out. Do you want to try it? And I'm like, no, I'm not really interested. Especially because, like, fighting games that are coming from an anime main series like Dragon Ball usually are not that great.
Yeah,
Right.
it's true.
But a couple of my IRL friends actually started playing it on Steam. I was like, maybe I'll try it out after all. And my friend shared his Steam library with me, right?
Mhm.
So I started playing the game and I just got sucked up into it, into learning this game. And I just kept asking him, yo, when are you done playing? I want to play this game. And he got so fed up with it that he actually gifted me the game.
Oh, wow.
And after that, I sunk over 1,000 hours into this game. Eventually, it grew kind of stale. There is not that much depth in this game compared to other fighting games, in my opinion.
Oof,
The Dragon Ball is probably gonna hate me now.
Get out.
Kick him off. Kick him off the
Baddy,
But,
so,
But yeah, at that time where I grew a bit bored with the game, Soulcalibur came around, the announcement for it, and was like, oh man, I tried this game with my friend and it was fun. I can't wait to get into this game and actually like really into this game, not just playing it on a casual basis, right?
Mhm.
And then I came around and I looked up the character Discord for Taki, because character kind of appealed to me with all her crazy jumping around and fast moves.
Yeah, can understand that.
Right. And since I already had like a lot of labbing experience from Dragon Ball, it was actually quite easy to get into labbing out the characters for Soulcalibur and contributing to resource finding for the character.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much how I got into Soulcalibur and the fighting game scene.
Okay. So you started off with a 2D anime fighter, and now you've moved on to a 3D weapons-based fighter.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. Apparently, Shaddy in the chat is calling you out. Is this true, Baddy?
Well, that's another aspect, but I mean,
Okay.
I think this goes without mentioning.
Oh, of course, of course. So, thank you very much both for those wonderful introductions, and thank you to everybody who's here so far. Just as a bit of a preemptive statement, this is the first episode that we're doing, so let us know on Twitter and in the Discords if there's anything that you would like us to do for the next episodes, if there's any segments that you think we should implement, but also technical stuff. If you think voices should be a bit louder on my end or the guest's end, if you want to see more stuff going on screen, just let us know. Because as we've said, this is for you guys. We want to get to know everybody in the Soulcalibur EU community. That's everybody from France, Italy, the UK, and the rest of the EU as well.
If I can add something real quick, I just want to mention that this is a format Dan actually came up with. We were thinking about something differently first, like a first to 10 format, right? And then you were actually like, well, what else could we do? And Dan actually came up with it, and I think it's a great idea to have this going.
Yeah, because originally we were going to do first to 10s, but you know, people get bored of fighting sometimes, and we felt we wanted to bring a little something different to the scene. And just to kind of address what Yin was saying and Goonism, we don't hate the USA, but we just realized that there wasn't this amount of content coming out of the EU, or the same amount of content that was coming out of the EU than there is in the US. So we want to try and match that enthusiasm and match that level of content production. There will be more first to 10s and there will be more tournaments and stuff, but we want to give you something different. And if you enjoy it, we'll continue doing it. If you don't, we'll scrap it and we'll go sit in a corner somewhere. So let us know, because like I said, this is for you guys and we just want to enjoy ourselves too. So anyway, let's move on to the question section of the podcast. There's only a few, because personally I want to get into patch note stuff, considering we have 2 character loyalists here. But I want to get to know you guys a little bit first, and it's mostly about your fighting game history, but also just a little bit about you as people. So firstly, what was the very first video game that you played? I think I'm going to go to Baddy for this one first.
Oof. So
I know, dropping the real questions immediately.
It was actually my mother who introduced me to computers really early on. I think I played my first video games in that regard when I was 2, and those were like more or less educational games for children, right? Okay. I know it doesn't sound crazy or hype.
Not that hype.
But this is basically my first contact I had with computer games, right? Yeah.
Cool. Andy, what about you? Very first video game you played?
I remember it well. It's Pokemon Ruby from the Game Boy Advance.
Ooh. Oh wow, that's an old school.
Yeah, my mum got me a Game Boy Advance because I seen like it being advertised on TV. I was like, I want that. I can't imagine. I don't know why I'm putting on that voice. Well, I did, and then I got it, and what was hilarious. I'd never played a video game in my life before that, and I had no idea like how to even work it. So because I never knew how to press the A button to interact with everything, I must have spent like 2 months just walking around the little house and you start in town. and I was like, isn't it even Pokemon? I don't see any. I'm just a little man walking around the house. And then one day, I think I accidentally pressed A on the person I meant to press A onto, and I think it was like midnight or something in the night time, and I ran into him. I'm like, Mum, I got it working! Oh, but you just pressed that button.
I bet your mum loved you for that one.
I was like, you woke me up for that. Yes, Pokemon. and then I can't remember the rest after that. But yeah, that was wow. Who'd have thought? Like you even have to press A to get to that part of the game. I don't know. I never clicked on. I need to press it a bit more to talk to a guy. Oh well. But yeah, sure. That memory. That I'm grateful in a way because it made that memorable for me.
Wow, Pokemon Ruby. That's a classic. I mean.
2003.
Yeah, long time ago. Wow. I mean, what? The game started off at Pokemon Red, Yellow, and Blue?
It did, yeah, 1994.
Ruby? Oh my god, 1994.
You're asking the right guy for this one. So it started Red and Blue in 1994 on the very original Game Boys. And then eventually there was a couple like Nintendo 64 games. And then we have Gold and Silver for the Game Boy Color, which is Generation 2. I basically just watched the TV and played the card games until then. Well, not played the card game, collected them and go, oh, these are shiny, because I was still young, I didn't know how to play it. And then from Ruby Sapphire was Generation 3 for the Game Boy Advance, and that's 10 years of history. And then we're in Generation 8. The newest games came out like this weekend, and I'm still playing it. And it's just, I don't know, sick.
Wow.
So wait, how old were you when you played Ruby for the first time?
2003. Man, I need a calendar. Can't think how old. Well, I'm 25 now. And the games came out in 1994, which is my birth year. So I'm basically as old as Pokemon. So
as old as Pokemon.
Yeah, right, it's an easy way to remember it. So 2003. Man, I can't do maths. I've just had work today. I've been using a calculator all day. I can't even think.
You're right.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I think it must be like 8 or 10 or something, to give or take. Sorry, guys, can't do maths right now.
Nah, you're fine. You're fine. We're fighting game players. We don't do maths.
I know, right?
Remember, frame data is a construct. Doesn't matter. So
yeah, all I need to know is IHCE. Oh,
exactly. That's all you need to know. So, next question. We're going to drop this immediately. What is your favorite video game of all time?
Who are you asking first?
Oh, I'm going to ask you this one first, Andy.
Yeah, no worries. Favorite just video game of all time.
Yeah, video game of all time. That can be from the first console you ever picked up to the latest generation. Any game. Man. RPG, fighter, shooter, dating sim, whatever you want.
Like, you have to think, because there's some proper, like, like little gems out there, isn't there, that you just pick up. Wow, it's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really hard to say. I think I'm gonna say. I'm tempted to say Soulcalibur 5 because I literally dedicated 6 years to that game.
Oh wow! So Andy is a true Soulcalibur fan. His favorite game was the worst Soulcalibur game in the franchise.
Yeah. I know, right? You know what? Yeah, I'm just gonna say that. I mean, it had to have been good enough for me to play it 6 years, right? Like that's
for sure.
Right. So I'm just gonna say that.
Fair enough.
Close second. Soulcalibur is what.
Soulcalibur is life. What about you, Baddy?
Yeah.
It's a really difficult question considering how many games are out there, how many games I played, and how many games actually left an impact on me.
We're asking the real questions here on the Soulcast.
Yeah. I mean, there were great games that were like my favorite game for a good while. But if I have to choose my current favorite game, it has to be Slay the Spire. And I'm actually picking a solo game because multiplayer game and multiplayer online games are kind of different game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially because you pump a lot more hours into those games. So Slay the Spire it hits quite a lot of marks. What I really like about it, first off, it's a card game, right? Mm-hmm. Second off, you have random generated dungeon crawling basically going on with a card game, which is already a crazy stunning concept, right? It has a great learning curve, and it also has some really amazing developers which closely work together with the community to actually make it a really good game. And now they're even giving out free content. Like the next content update is coming up is a new character, new cards, new zone. It's all coming out for free, and the game already costs like $50 or something like that. It also has workshop support, means basically you can add mods at a click of a button, right?
Yeah, that's pretty sick. Games that are on Steam that have Steam Workshop support are infinitely more accessible and sometimes better just for having that addition.
Oh, definitely, yeah. But the next game I'm pretty much looking forward to, which I hope is going to be my new favorite game, is Cyberpunk 2077. I hope that's going to be a good one.
I think most of the population of the Earth is looking forward to that
game. Probably, yeah.
I just know that about it. That's awesome. I love that. Okay.
I mean, when they revealed, what was it, Keanu in the trailer at
Yeah.
E3, that was probably one of the hypest things of this year, let alone in gaming. Cool. Well, thank you very much both for that. My next question, you kind of both already answered, which was when did you start playing fighting games? But I think I'm going to skip that question and just ask you what your favorite fighting game is in general, ever. So you've got Soulcalibur, Tekken, DB, Street Fighter, King of Fighters.
Oh, we got a lot of options.
You got loads of them.
So,
asking
who's
for-
going first?
Oh, yeah, just go for it. Free for all.
All right. Well, I kind of make a difference here. As a spectator fighting game, my favorite is actually Dragon Ball. Because I think it's really hyped to watch. It's fast paced, and on the highest skill level, it's just insanity going on. Which I think like Soulcalibur isn't quite there yet, especially in like a clear communication of what's happening. But Soulcalibur is definitely my favorite fighting game to play. Because I've just by the sheer amount of options and depth the game has. It has a unique feeling to its movement. Soulcalibur 6 is, in my opinion, also really well balanced to a point where basically you can play any character and still feel it's manageable to win. Right?
Right. Yeah.
I just wish Soulcalibur had a bit more polish. For example, like 6 feels like a refurbished older Soulcalibur in its appearance and its looks, right? Right.
Well, they have reused models from earlier games.
Yeah.
Just updated them.
Models, assets, animation data, actually a lot of it, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I know the reason why that is because of the tight budget they have going on.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's not much you could really criticize in the way of not them caring enough, but it's definitely like a budgeting problem. But yeah, it was definitely a budgeting and a time problem on
I think it's amazing what Project Soul actually pushes out here and how actually they are working with the community together to make it a better game.
Yeah,
That's great to see.
Exactly. Just kind of an example of that was when Bamco on Twitter did that, what is your favorite fighting game right now? Out of the 3 that Bamco put out, Soulcalibur, Tekken, and DBFZ. And I checked all the responses. And, the Tekken fans were like, Tekken's really well balanced. I enjoy it. It's a legacy game. And then you look through the Soulcalibur comments and it's like, fuck yeah, Okubo, best developer. Season 2, I can't wait. Yeah, let's go. And I kind of feel like that's so indicative of what the Soulcalibur community is right now, which is just pushing and pushing and pushing to keep the game alive and getting another season and getting new additions and
I mean, just because
communities.
Just because the Soulcalibur community is also a lot smaller and a lot of people know each other, it feels far more kind of like a family, right? Rooting for their game.
Oh, 100%.
And trying to promote it at every possibility they get.
Yeah, and I think that is what makes our community the greatest fighting game community of all time. So now, thank you very much for that, Baddy. What about you, Andy? Question to you.
So memorable fighting games in my time. There was a point where when we had the GameCube, we had Super Smash Bros. Melee, but not actually play it properly. Just me against the computer, only use Pokeballs and just throw tons of Pokeballs at each other and see what happens in all the Pokemon fighters. And that was it. Like, I didn't care about actually
fighting game ever.
just basically being 2 Pokemon characters, making mass Pokeballs fall down from the sky, and then just throwing them at each other and watching all the legendaries and stuff just come out and not actually get anywhere in the game or anything, just to do that. So that was, as you can imagine, like, whoa for me back then. Other than that, there was this obscure. Do you know the Godzilla series?
Yes. Are you about to say the name of the game that I think you are?
Destroy All Monsters?
Yes, Destroy All Monsters! Oh my god, what a game.
Yeah, man, that was another one of just throwing like airplanes and buildings at each other with different dinosaurs. I don't know.
It was
I don't know why that
incredible.
was. Yeah, that was a fun blast to play with friends and stuff.
Kind of sounds like this new crab fighting game.
Oh yeah, forgot about that. Anyway, sorry. Carry on.
Yeah, no, it's cool. So those ones, and then I want to give a shout out to Pokken Tournament.
Yep.
DX. That was, as you can imagine, like this was still days of Soulcalibur is not to be heard of because it was in the, the dead period of of no news or anything, and the fact that it was a 2D / 3D fighter with the phases and stuff / Pokemon. Hello, you can imagine how hype I was for that.
100%.
So I did give that a little bit of a play. That was cool too. And then other than that, yeah, just Soulcalibur again.
So Soulcalibur, which is your favorite though?
Okay. Well, look, Soulcalibur 6 would be absolutely perfect if Y was in the game. Okay.
Oh God, here we go. Bring out the petition. Everybody just sign it.
No, but other than that, no, Soulcalibur 6 is the best Soulcalibur game. I'm just saying Soulcalibur. I said Soulcalibur 5 before because nostalgia reasons. But yeah, Soulcalibur 6, in my opinion, is like Baddy said, the most balanced one ever. Considering there's still a few questionable characters, aka as well,
Not naming. Okay, never mind.
Yeah. He doesn't get away with it.
True.
Yeah, the game's like really good. I didn't really like the single player or the story, but whatever. It's still more than I did on 5, and I'm grateful.
Oh, for sure. Just to address Angel Step style, I was rooting for Setsuka so damn hard. Anybody in my own little stream community knows how much I really wanted Setsuka, and they surprised me with Hilda. And I said, I'm putting it out there, Hilda, Yun, Setsuka. Those are the 3 that we're going to get in Season 2. I got 1 out of 3 so far. So watch this space.
I think you're right.
Yun, Setsuka to come.
I think it's going to be those 2. Either Young or Huang.
No, Huang. Huang.
You mean H Wang?
I will continue to say this forever. Huang is the vacuous personality black hole version of Yun. Okay. He has no personality. So that's why I prefer Yun. But anyway, this is not for me to boost my own opinion poll. So thanks very much, both of you, for that. The next one, I'm sure we could already guess Andy's, but what is your favorite fighting game? I'm going to start with Baddy for this. Fighting game character, sorry. What's your favorite fighting game character? I'll go to Baddy for this one.
My favorite fighting game character? By what measures? By
any fighting game character. Just like everything. If you had to pick one fighting game character out of everything that you could only play for that because they were the most fun, had the best voice acting, or just appeal to you the most, you have to pick one fighting game character.
Ooh, okay. I would say actually Baiken appeals to me the most, just because it's just this wild woman just smashing together everything.
Yeah, I know. Eyelash Wish loves him a bit of Baiken, so you and him can hang out in GG 2020 when it comes out and just do Baiken mirrors all day.
If they bring Baiken, she hasn't been announced yet.
True, very true. So is Baiken your pick for favorite fighting game character?
Probably, yeah. I mean, I have a couple of favorites, right? Depending on what is enjoyable about the character, right? Mm-hmm. For example, Taki is just fun because he can jump around a lot. Basically, for a playstyle, right? I really also liked Season 1 Android 21, just because of the sheer amount of damage he could do with juggles.
Okay. But you're sticking with Baiken as the kind of top of the list if you had to play Only one character. For
just by character design, by
yeah.
when you look at the screen and say, okay, what appeals to me? What personality does this character have, right? Or that, maybe.
Okay, cool. Bikin, I like it. And Andy, what about you?
Right.
Who's your favorite fighting game character?
I'm going to give some honorable mentions because I guess they'll be more interesting than you know what I'm going to say.
Sure.
So, no, really. I've played Injustice. I think that's a pretty decent game, in my opinion. And I mained Green Lantern. I don't know. He's kind of cool. He's one of my favorite superhero people.
Okay.
So he was fun to use. Like I used him in Injustice 1 and 2. So I think he gets a mention. For Pokken Tournament, I used a Pokemon called Aeger Slash. It's a floating sword and shield. I have no idea if you guys even know that.
Of course it is.
Yeah, I know it.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, man. Aeger Slash is who I use in that. He's cool.
Got its own Pokemon game now.
Lol.
And then it's going to be, I'm going to say Zaz is second place because he is just the ultimate badass, big, bold, black guy, immortal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's true.
all that jazz, time stopping goodness, in the newest one. But yeah, he is just really sick and awesome. But I couldn't go for him in Soulcalibur 5, so I went with this guy who can summon a freaking, I don't even know what it is, floating wolf thing. Fine. Okay, I just found that so cool, and I didn't care that everyone knew how to well, not everybody, because I guess that's kind of the beauty of it, really. But just being able to use a fighting game character, and even though that game wasn't really balanced, there was some very clear, stupidly good characters in Soulcalibur 5, like Alpha Trocolos, Viola, Algol, etc.
Yeah.
It was still fun just beating people up with that wolf and just getting better with him. So I've had the most nostalgia and memories with Zwei still, and that's why I want him back in Soulcalibur 6. Please sign my pension.
That petition is sitting on Andy's Twitter, I believe.
So kind of
Currently like his pinned tweet or something. So if you're a fan of Zwei, yeah, right. To be honest, I really, really loved Zwei's design in Soulcalibur 5.
So badass, man.
I loved
it.
It's just
and I can't wait. And I can't wait in season 2 where they're adding Soulcalibur 4 and 5 music tracks.
Oh, yes.
Every single stage.
Immediately, just the Zwei soundtrack in every single stage.
Maybe not everyone, but I'm gonna fanboy over that for a good 3 days or something.
Oh, for sure. Sweet.
So
So the final question before we get into some Soulcalibur Season 2 patch note review thingies. What made you pick up Soulcalibur in the first place? And I'm going to throw that to Baddy first.
Well, pretty much what I already said. I've played it at a friend's place. We played it actually a couple of times, which was Soulcalibur 4. We tried Soulcalibur 5 and we're like, yeah, that doesn't feel right. And went back to 4. I'm sorry, Andy. Just didn't appeal to us. But yeah, we were just fooling around most of the time in the game because we were casuals and had no idea about fighting games, right? And actually, the characters I enjoyed most in Soulcalibur 4 were Yoshimitsu and Maxi. We also played Killick. Like, we often just played mirror matches just for the fun of it, right? And Maxi was back then appealing to me because he could do so much crazy stuff with just a few buttons, and you had no idea how it happened and how it all came together, but it happened. So it was basically a continuous...
just very quickly, Baddy, we've just got a raid from the Soulcalibur 6 Russia community. Thank you very, very much for that, with 13 people. Let's get some hype in the chat for that. Cross-community engagement. That's what we're all about here at Soulcalibur. So thank you very much.
Yo.
And sorry, Baddy. Yes, please continue.
Right. So Maxi was basically for me just a continuous discovery while playing the game, which was fun and enjoyable. And just the Yoshi mirror matches were fun to do, where you had this kick going on that rang out on the second hit. It was basically just a turn kick he was doing. And it basically devolved into a game where it was like, am I going to do it? Am I not going to do it?
True 50-50 mix-ups.
Right. That was my first experience with Soulcalibur, and I had pretty much good memories about the game. And then Soulcalibur 6 was got announced, and I actually got hyped for it. And was like, yeah, I enjoyed this game, and I got into fighting games with Dragon Ball Fighters. I want to pick up the next game, and Soulcalibur was a really good candidate. So I tried out Soulcalibur 6, got into it, and actually really enjoyed it.
Wow. There you go. Yeah, I kind of I'm a Soulcalibur 2 player. That's when I started, and I played them all kind of up until Soulcalibur 5. And once I heard that Soulcalibur 6 was announced, I too went insane because this game had not been around for so many years, and there were so many things that they could draw from the history of Soulcalibur. And now Bamco has a history of putting in guest characters with Soulcalibur 4 and 5. Who knew what was going to happen? And then we got Geralt announced for Soulcalibur 6. It was like, oh my god, we have got so many new things coming for this game. We cannot wait. But yeah, my very first one was Soulcalibur 2. But like Necro is saying, Soulcalibur 2 is most people's first game because it was an amazing game. But anyway, over to you, Andy. What made you pick up Soulcalibur? The very first thing that enticed you to play this game of Souls and Swords?
Yeah, man. So like I say, it was when my friends randomly brought it one time and we played it. And then after that, it was just friendly, like banter, trying to use more cheap moves on the other person, even though it was those type of friends that says, "Don't ring me out, don't grapple me 2 times in a row." you know those rules. And,
Yeah.
And then and my friend, his name's Jermaine. Like, there's one point he got so mad about like just getting like beaten. He he ejected the disc out of the 360. And he frisbeed it out the front window. I'm not even kidding.
Oh no!
Right, I was like, and then me and his brother were playing, and we just looked at each other like, "Oops." and what I did was like when I think when he went back inside, I like quickly like ran back out to it and like just like I picked up like something like really damaged. Like, come here, it's okay. He did.
No way.
I basically like go rescue the disc. It still works fine. I've still got it to this day. Nice, safely in its
Wait,
case.
is it still working?
Yeah, it still works too.
Wow.
Destiny, man. Destiny.
Right. Meant to be.
Yeah, that was. And then I'll just kind of whispering to like my mate's brother, like, "I'll play this another time." Yeah, good idea.
When he's not around, to start throwing electronics out the window. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a moment. Wow. Yeah.
At least it was just the disc and not the entire console.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would have been bad.
I think that would have gone out next if we played any longer.
Can definitely imagine that. So, thank you for both so much for answering these questions. Normally we would do, well, normally it's the first episode, but what I was planning on doing is a few more questions. However, like I said, Season 2 patch notes have come out recently, and I thought we'd go through them. I think a couple of people in the chat right now who are interested to see, or rather hear, what Andy and Baddy have to say about their characters. So I'm going to throw it over to I'm going to throw it over to Baddy first to get some insight about how he feels regarding Taki's new moves, her buffs, her nerfs, her changes. So yeah, take it away, Baddy.
Okay, so for Taki, we actually got a lot in store. So if you're familiar with Taki, as of late, she had this UB setup going on. which involved her roll kick, gunpowder, right? And they changed that move so that if that move hits you in the air, you can now tech it, right? Which basically destroys this UB setup, and that affects her AB combo, the Ninja Cannon combo, right? As well as the lethal hit A6 combo she had going on. And what that basically means is that pretty much it's a damage loss of 50 damage per round, which is pretty big, right?
Yeah.
So that in itself is already a nerf, even if you argue, well, it was not intended. It was how she was played for a longer time now. But we got a lot of other stuff as well. So first off, she has this double kick move, 4KK. It's a high-low string. And they reduced the on-block frames on it by 4 frames, so it's only -8 now. You can't be punished for it anymore, which is a good thing because it's a really predictable string, right? You usually didn't want to use it in neutral. If this makes it usable, I don't know. I'm not really sure about it. I could imagine like it could be used if you are afraid of AGIs and want to counter it with a kick move. But other than that, it doesn't have any mix you could use it with, right? Like no mid option instead.
Sure.
That was like a rather minor change. Also a change that happened across the cast pretty much. There's a lot of moves received hitbox and tracking adjustments, right? I'll not go into which moves they are. You can find them in the patch notes. I think it's mainly moves that for some reason just started going into the other direction.
1 second again, sorry to interrupt you, Baddy, but we just had Tao Kaka Meow with a raid of 15. Thank you very, very much for the raid.
Oh, wow.
Welcome,
Hey,
everybody. Guys. Thank you so much. So yeah, sorry about that, Baddy. Carry on. Just have to thank our brothers and sisters.
So let's go more into the changes which actually do have a bit of an impact. She has this triple kick series move, 3KK, which had a lot of stage carry, which allowed her to ring out. They nerfed the range on that one, so the ring out distance is probably going to be nerfed with this one. How much each individual kick got nerfed in distance, we don't know yet. We have to see that, right? The next thing that actually got me a bit salty, to be honest, is she had this on the ground move where she was grounded and would do a roll kick upwards, hitting the opponent with it.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck that.
Yeah, they nerfed the follow-up damage of it, and nothing else changed about this move, which means it's still launch punishable, and probably does less damage. The only explanation I have is that maybe they had like a new move so that actually could combo into it, which deals more damage. Maybe that is the reasoning behind why the follow-up damage got nerfed.
Possibly.
Yeah, but other than that,
you know that move you're on about? That's when she's on the ground and she flies up and hits and kicks in the air. Wasn't that damage nerfed before this one as well? Is this the second time?
That's the second time that move got nerfed.
Yeah, because before that, the very first time we did like Half-Life or something stupid, didn't it? The full combo.
No, I think it did about 70, which is still a lot. I'm not gonna lie about it.
Oh, fair. So it's twice in damage.
So yeah, basically the move is pretty much a double-edged sword. On one hand, it's launch punishable on block. You can lose a lot of life if you just throw it out, right? And on a higher level, it really isn't that much threatening because players know what they do and they play a way tighter Oki game where you don't really have that much of an option to just threaten with that move. But here comes the good side about this move, right? Because you have this option, it is a threat to the opponent, which means the opponent has to respect the move, which in some situations allows Taki to safely recover which other characters would not have that option to, right? Just
Yeah,
the existence of this move already make this move good, right? Even if you don't really use it.
I agree.
Yeah. So we have to see how this move exactly gets changed. Maybe it's even not that a lot of damage that gets changed about it. Next off, we have let me check. Right, so there's this PO6BA move. For people who don't know what move that is, it's out of possession. She does first a stab move into a swing move. And it even has a soul charge extension where she does another swing afterwards, right? This move has been made less punishable. It used to be minus 20 on block, and now it's minus 14. This is not only good because in regular play, if you throw it out, which you actually shouldn't, but if you do, right, it's not that punishable anymore. Most people can't get a launcher off of it. And what actually makes the change really good is because if you're in soul charge, you threaten with the third hit, and the opponent first has to figure out, are you doing the third hit or not, right? Which makes this move actually safer and maybe even safe to use. Right.
So was the tactic before, if somebody was just like you predicted throwing it out, you could GI the second or third hit?
That's a good question. I don't think you can GI the second hit.
It jails the second and third, right? Like if you block the second and enter the third, it jails. But from the first to the second, I'm not entirely sure. Actually, I can't remember. If anybody remembers, let us know. I don't play Taki that often. So if you could GI them before, that doesn't really have any bearing on it because it would be just the BA version. And there's no difference between the first move and the second move coming out. It's just the recovery frames after it gets blocked on the second hit. So then I wonder how that would affect the third hit then. Would it come out quicker in that case? Or would you just have more of an advantage? Who knows? I mean, this is why we're doing this, just so we can go through it and speculate stuff. But is there anything that you wish wouldn't be on these patch notes? If there's something that you could take out because it would either destroy the character or it would really like... there we go.
Well, I wasn't done yet, but...
okay. Well, then please carry on. We've got loads of time, so don't let me interrupt you if you've... if you've got more stuff to say.
So, and we still have to go through other changes, which are actually pretty big. So, for the first one, it's her neutral B move. If you hit your opponent with it, now it changes the opponent to the standing state, right? Some people might have seen that clip on Twitter going around comparing Cassandra's string and Taki's string, how Taki doesn't get a natural combo out of it if you hit the opponent crouching. So they did change that now, actually, probably according to that clip, right? And not only do we have that now, we can also enforce the K follow-up of that move afterwards, which is pretty important, actually, because it has a hold variant, BK hold, which actually gives you frame advantage, right? Sets up a frame trap. Yeah. Right. So we have that. Which also means it's going to be a natural combo now, which is good, right?
I was going to say, so currently, if BK hold gets blocked, how much of an advantage are you at? Are you plus on block?
I think it's either 0 or plus. Let me check real quick.
Sure.
You see how much I use the move.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. But to be honest, like unless you're talking to somebody who's a complete character breakdown loyalist, especially like Andy, who did like a whole 8-way run guide on Zasalamel, stuff like this isn't really going to be off the top of your head.
What am I talking about?
Yeah, for Andy, it's just like 3A, I-14, minus 12 on block. 6B.
Okay, so this is interesting. Even Orkadan doesn't know. Orkadan doesn't have anything. They don't be K hold.
Useless owl person.
I haven't used it to know what is that move. Does it exist?
Never seen it before. Yeah, exactly.
I think you're making that one up.
I mean, just BK alone is already -2 on block,
Oh
which
wow,
should
okay.
give you an idea. It's probably plus.
Yeah.
But here comes the great thing about the next changes, right? Not only the BK hold, and BAK string of Taki got buffed through this next change, but also 4K. The K move of those strings have a change to their. They can counter hit now, which allow Taki to get a follow up off of it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So those are new possibilities to get some damage out. And what in turn makes that even more great is we also have the string BA4, which transitions into possession. Right. So yeah, just having the option to vary it between BK hold, BAK, and BA4, and actually have all those moves being somewhat useful now, will bring some change to this, right? We probably will see those moves getting more use now.
Oh, for sure.
Right.
I mean, a lot of Takis, at least that I come across, they're like 4 BA machines, and that is all they will try and go for. But if you give them more viable moves, especially in the neutral game, that's going to be really, really fun to fight against, because it's not necessarily having to guess every single time somebody throws out a B or an A, but you at least have some variation as a player what you have to do to make sure you react correctly, which is always a lot more fun than just having someone spam the same move over and over again because it's 12 frame.
Yeah, exactly. It's most about Taki gets more viable options, and actually also options to do more damage, considering that counter hits now allow us to do a combo, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Which we didn't have too much of, to be honest. So this is good to see. Then we also got a new move, which I'm really excited about. So Taki got Stalker move. It's where she jumps into the air, right?
Stalker
and
Cloud.
she can do some follow-up moves. And we get Stalker K hold L, which is a low attack, and in the patch note it says it has a wide range. Perhaps it's a horizontal, if that's what it means. Definitely having more lows is good for Taki, considering that her lows are abysmal.
Yeah, I mean, they're quick, but they don't lead to much.
Right, it is gated though behind the Stalker though, so you have to be in that stance, basically, right?
Yeah.
Kind of telegraphed it, really.
Yeah, pretty much, right. But it might bring some changes to the Stalker game. It's mostly dependent on how good that move actually is, because we don't know yet how it's gonna behave, right? Is it a knockdown? Is it gonna be plus on hit? Is it punishable on block? Things like that are really relevant to how useful this move is gonna be.
Yeah.
Right. And then another move I'm really looking forward to. We're getting a new move called PO2BK, and it's also going to be a low attack out of possession this time, which I'm really looking forward to.
Which move is that, sorry?
PO2BK. B plus K, I'm sorry.
Oh, vacuum dropkick during possession.
Exactly. So if I have to take a guess, so possession B plus K is Taki's move out of possession, where she hovers in the air and drops down on the opponent, right? So 2B plus K might be a variant of this move, where she attacks low instead.
That would be pretty sick.
If that's the case, it might be leading to some really good mix-up game. Granted, you have to set up for it, right? Because you can't just throw out B plus K or the hover attack in general, because it can be just that. But yeah, that's something we need to experiment with. I'm really looking forward to lab out.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be so many opportunities for all characters. But if you're a one character person, that training mode is going to get hammered on Monday and Tuesday. There's going to be so much labbing going on. It's going to be so great. Twitter's going to have so many bloody videos of new tech, Discord's going to go mad. It's going to be amazing, and I cannot wait.
Like, I can see already how everyone is going to be outraged at a single character each day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
then
for
they'll
sure.
be like posting up these combos that are UKemiable, air controllable, high tech traps. You know?
I mean, but that's
New
part of the fun,
combo I
right?
found KKK juggle.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Look at this, it's unbeatable.
I mean, that's the nature of fighting game communities, right? Is you'll find these insane setups, then one person will go, "Oh, I labbed this, and you can actually air control it after the first hit. What are you, a retard?"
But what if they don't, man? It's 2 damage. 2 more damage.
I mean, that part of it I'm not so excited for. But people discovering new stuff about their character and discovering new stuff on Hilda, you know, that's going to be amazing to see, and how she interacts with the rest of the cast.
I don't think it will happen that much, to be honest, because like it mostly happens with new fighting games, right? Where a lot of new players are attracted. I don't think Season 2 is going to attract that many new players. Mostly Soulcalibur veterans, right?
I mean,
or like, yeah.
Sorry, no, carry on.
Yeah, or maybe like people that tried out Soulcalibur, decided it's not for them, and now take another look at it and see changes they might like.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's the hope, right? Is that these changes will attract more people who may have or like originally played the game and not found it fun for whatever reason. But, you know, I do kind of hope that more previous Soulcalibur players that never picked this game up do come to the game. And maybe even fresh fighting game players in general, like those that are currently growing up with these... Sorry?
Samurai Showdown fans.
I mean, we can get into Haomaru in a bit, but generally, I kind of think Soulcalibur 6 Season 2, we need to push it the hardest we've pushed this game so far, because it's been shown in the passion of Okubo and Project Soul that they want to keep this game going. And with all of these new moves, and like we expected 1 or 2 moves per character, and yet every single character's got like a minimum of 5 new moves. It's insane.
Oh yeah,
the amount of work that they must have put in to give us this season. I mean, I probably couldn't even quantify it. So
I mean, you
jump
can
on
also
Twitter,
tell,
find ridiculous setups, and just send them to Okubo. Be like, more of this.
like considering how much actually got added, you can definitely be sure like Season 2 has been planned out for a while already. They just were waiting to get the okay from Banco. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
They had it in the works for quite a while already.
So anything else, Baddy, for the current patch notes?
Oh yeah, there's still some exciting stuff actually.
Loads.
Good old
So we have this move 6BB or 44B, which is her talisman. It's called. It's that move where she does the pushes a sticky bomb into the opponent and then sets it off, right?
Yeah.
So this move, the aspect between where she sticks the bomb to the opponent and explodes, got faster. They sped up the animation. A good reason why they might have done it is because we have a new option out of this move now, which is forward, which allows Taki to go into possession rush. If you don't know what that is, when Taki throws her shuriken, right, she has this animation where she rushes forward in the PO stance already.
Yes.
And we get that option now for the sticky bomb, which not only happens on hit, but also on block, which actually makes this move a lot more interesting to use in neutral. Because in the past, it was like, you use that move, it does some god damage, okay, that's great and all. But now I'm outside, I have to get in again to get to the opponent, right?
Yeah.
Not only that, but I also speculate that we get some follow-ups if the attack actually lands, right? Maybe even a combo into her unblockable out of possession. Could be a possibility. So despite the UB setup being gone, we might still be able to deal really good damage. Not a lot in compared to what we had before, because like the UB setup was basically 50 damage raw to the face, right?
Yeah.
So the follow-up is going to be scaled down, obviously. But we have options, which is great.
More options, more opportunities to do different things. Always a good time.
Exactly. So the next change is more universal. Every character is getting a soul attack now, right?
Yeah.
But especially Taki is going to profit off of it, because one of the huge dissuades for using soul charge was pushing the opponent away, which you don't want to do. As Taki, you often struggle to get into the opponent's defense, right? Or into range to actually do something. And that's why most of the time soul charge is not that great of an option for her. That might actually change with soul attack, where you don't push the enemy away. And we also get a PO transition out of that one. So we can actually do a PO follow-up.
That sounds like it's going to be so much fun to use as a Taki. Especially if you do it in a combo as well with possession cancel. Oh,
this is my guess.
Wait.
I think you probably only want to use the PO transition if the attack hits, right? On block, it's probably punishable to transition into PO, is my guess.
Possibly. Could be.
Yeah. So we will see about that. Aside from having that, we're also getting 2 new Soul Charge moves, which are really necessary. I think Taki's Soul Charge is lacking as well.
It's terrible. It's so bad.
Well, the first one we got is Soul Charge AAKB. And by the sounds of it, AAK is a string of 3 high attacks.
Mm-hmm.
B is going to be an extension of that move. So that means we have a 3 high string, which is, again, another high move we get in Soul Charge, which I'm not really too happy about. I would like to have some other options in Soul Charge.
Yeah.
But we get it. And it does have a PO rush transition, just like the Shuriken and the Sticky Bomb now has, right?
Yeah.
So maybe it's something we can use actually in combos instead, right? Maybe it's a string we can use for combos.
Oh yeah, that sounds definitely like what it's meant to be. The AAKB, if it has a possession rush aspect to it, you could probably use one of the 2B plus K during possession. So if you do AAKB, then especially if it's a launch, which it probably might be, considering that string, or maybe not a launch, or possibly a bounce, so that you can then follow up with a possession rush. And maybe do like a 6A or something if you think they're going to step for the mid option. Or if you think they're going to try and GI, you can do just a normal B plus K. So it's just more pressure out of Soul Charge rather than just having to stay back into neutral once your 6A BBB gets blocked.
It's mostly just speculation. We just don't know what that move actually is now, right?
100%.
Because like some moves get changed through Soul Charge, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we see some changed aspects on it as well. But I imagine it's something you can combo into in a wall combo, which could be pretty sick.
Oof, more wall combo damage. Big oof.
With a PO follow-up?
Yeah, right. So much fun.
Next off, we also got something that is actually more interesting to me. I'm really curious how this one works. This is also a new Soul Charge move. Taki's dreaded 4BA.
Mm-hmm.
He now has Soul Charge 4BB.
Yeah, so you can't duck it anymore.
Exactly. Most likely.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. Didn't realize that. Yeah, sick.
Mm-hmm.
So here's my guess. From what I read, it doesn't seem like it has a PO transition like 4BA4 is, right?
Sure.
But considering it's 2 Bs, it's going to be a good way to deal chip damage. And what we really need to know is the frames of that move, right? Like, what is that second B looking like? Is it just like a repeated 4B move?
Yeah.
That's a big question. Regardless of which, if it is actually spammable, like 4BA could be, this might actually be really annoying to deal with for the opponent. because with season 2, that's something I get to in just a bit. We have way more meter generation going on, which means we have way more soul charge activations going on.
Yep.
All right. So yeah, basically having soul attack and the new soul charge move is buffer soul charge game in general, and soul attack is pretty much the biggest game changer for Taki, because soul charge, like I said before, was really not that viable before. It was more of a breather tool, resetting to neutral tool, right, than anything.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
That's basically the changes, like the most relevant changes there. There have been other changes, but I don't really want to go into that because they are really minor and we can't really say if it's going to be huge or not without seeing it first, right? Mostly tracking things. More of the general stuff. We have resist impact coming in. This is one of the aspects of season 2 that are worrying me for Taki, right? So we have resist impact, which can GI break and break attacks and unblockables, and that kind of is a tool against aggression, right?
Against
especially
the
with
cannon.
exactly, right?
Yeah.
And that is still all right. What is really worrying me is that it's supposedly restoring a good amount of guard stamina. Season 1 Taki was basically about her UB setups and investing a lot in guard damage, right? And with resist impact coming in, that's a nerf to her playstyle in season 1, right?
Yeah.
From the changes we can see, it shifts away from it. From the basically guard damage investment. But we have that going on. And the next thing that's coming is throws and reversal edge, right? Both allow for more meter generation, which in turn means more soul charges, that's correct, but also a lot more resistant impacts that we would see compared to season 1, right?
Yep. I can just see in chat they're talking about Zas CE and Amy, but we'll get onto those in a bit.
Yeah.
I've waited for this. Sorry.
But in turn, what's also great for Taki now is the change to basically throw breaking, right?
Yeah.
Because she also gets more meter, which is good, which means we can play with our new soul charge playthings, right? Not only that, but also breaking throws deals chip damage, which is good because we have it makes PO throws that much better. We keep our plus frame advantage. We deal still damage, right? That means we can continuously put up close combat pressure. That's actually pretty good.
100%.
Right. So in summary, Taki has seen a strong damage nerf through the removal of UB setups. At least this is what we speculate, right? And the other changes we have received for it have to make up for the damage loss.
Yep.
For the general changes like reverse impact and meter generation. And they also have to make up for all the buffs and new moves other characters receive, so that Taki is still basically in the same position she was in season 1 in relevance to the other characters.
Yep.
This is basically what's going on, where we can't say yet, is Taki worse? Is she stronger? Is she the same power-wise? Right?
Yeah.
So this is going to be interesting on Monday to see. The changes made to Taki's gameplay in general, it looks like there's a lot more focus on the PO game now. We have way more options to engage into PO. We have the buff PO grabs going on. And we also have a new PO low, right?
Yeah.
The other thing is Soul Attack makes Taki's Soul Charge aggression most likely viable, and anything else we have to see is how the two new Soul Charge moves work.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I think personally, I've been messing around with Taki and ranked a little bit, and I think more possession stance stuff is what Taki needs, because it's her most fun stance, aside from side rolling and stuff like that. She gets so many cool and fun options from possession. They've really doubled down on it. And I think that's a great idea.
Oh, yeah, definitely. The only thing I'm still wondering about is the Soul Charge game. It's just not clear to me how it will play out yet, especially because Reverse Impact also affects her Soul Charge game as well, considering that a lot of her moves just get an added ninja cannon, right?
Yeah.
So you have that going on. And another thing, something I think that was a bit overseen is her Shuriken. I think it deserves still some attention, considering that it's mostly rendered useless on higher ranked gameplay.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
I wish it was just both the non-CE Soul Charge and the Soul Charge version had a bit better frames, so you could actually also use it as a ranged punishment tool. Considering it doesn't even deal a lot of damage, right?
Yeah, not on its own.
Right. Yeah, all in all, from the changes we do know about already, Taki has been nerfed. But from the changes that we have yet not seen in action, they have to make up for what has been removed from Taki. Yeah. Either way, I'm pretty excited for Season 2 and to see how all her new moves play out and how her gameplay is going to change. And hopefully we see the Taki Discord once again breaking the game.
We always look forward to that, don't we? Always look forward to that.
Yeah.
So is that everything you have to say so far on Taki's changes and stuff, Bads?
Yeah, definitely. A lot of it is mostly just speculation now.
Sure.
Until we know for a fact what the moves do, how they behave, right?
Yeah. Cool. So thank you, Baddy, for giving us your take on the Taki changes coming in Season 2 on Monday. Unfortunately, we don't really have a time. So they said Monday, but that's Monday Japan time, I'm guessing. So it could be Tuesday for us, or Sunday, who knows. But anyway, moving on to the bottom 5 character player, Andyroo.
Hello.
Let us know your take on the buffs, nerfs, and changes to Zas coming in Season 2.
Yeah, sure. So can you guys still hear me all right, by the way?
Yeah, let us know sound volumes and stuff. We can still hear each other well, but like I said, if you need me to turn anybody up, let us know in the chat, and I can do that quite easily from OBS.
Yeah, no worries. Because during Baddy's breakdown of Taki, I put in a headset just to keep some noises, down from outside. So as long as you guys can hear me all right and the chat can, then I'll get spieling off.
Yeah, I think we're all good
all
to
his
go.
Aslamel's good stuff. Yeah, cool.
So let us know.
Yeah, man. So, what is good with Zaz? So, the thing is, everything is still basically as broken as it already was.
Oh, good.
That's great.
I'm so happy.
I will tell you guys the nerfs first. There are some, but I don't think the buffs definitely weigh out the nerfs, in my opinion.
Just with the sheer number of red up arrows to blue down arrows, there's more.
No, actually, no. There's 4 blue arrows and there's like 6 up arrows, and then there's like a big, massive new description for CE and new moves. So, but I just think personally, for what Zaz has been given, is actually insane. There's some very, like, a little bit similar to the Taki breakdown. We're going to need to know the frames, and some of this is still speculation, but man, I am so surprised they gave him some of the stuff that he didn't need.
Oh Oh boy.
So it's
Okay.
It's really sickening.
Just before you carry on, Andy.
Yeah, no worries, man.
Andy, classed like very well known as probably one of the best Zasses in Europe, if not the world, is saying these Zas changes are broken. Okubo, please.
Let's be real here and not totally sarcastic. SAS didn't have any tools.
Like the one thing that they needed. The one thing they needed to do was to stop all of his stupid tracking, and they've put 1B, fix an issue in which certain inputs would make it unavoidable by 8-way run. That's well and good and all, but what about all other 20 B moves, which are basically A moves?
Yeah.
Like all of them do it. And what's funny about 1B is it's not 1B on its own, which is the move they're describing here, isn't the one with the tracking problem. It's 1BB, which is unsteppable, and I'm not exaggerating, close range at the moment in season 1. I guess actually now that I'm double reading it again, I guess when it says where certain inputs would extend, so maybe it does mean 1BB, but let's hope it does, because that's actually the one with the tracking issue, which needs to stop, because that move is far too stupid. But all the rest of his B moves
Love this.
are just like, I'm always just posting on Twitter, hey, lol, I deserve this win, and then I'm hitting him like the others. It's a bit stupidish tracking. So I wish, like, it's bad when the actual player of this character is wanting them to do something about it. Yeah,
exactly.
Like it's pretty bad, isn't it? Like, so his reverse ring outs need to nerf, and his tracking does, and they've addressed it with one move on the tracking and one move on the reverse ring out. And I guess one forward ring out as well, with 3-8K not being to wall splat. So they have changed them a little bit, but some of the I mean, do you just want me to tell you how stupid he is with the new stuff?
Well,
I'll tell you what to worry about if you want.
Yes,
Well,
please.
Arpia told me that changing that move is not that big of a deal, considering he has plenty of other wall splat options.
Yeah, that is it's true. Like 3AK.
My heart is sinking every time Andy speaks right now.
3AK is a stupidly strong move anyway, right? Just point on its, even on its own, I-16 horizontal mid, and you have to duck the K to deal with it, otherwise you're just giving Zaz a safe horizontal mid string. You have to duck it, you can't GI, soul charge, whatever. And then even if you do want to commit to that, if he did 3AB, then he gets a free hit. So then his I-16 horizontal mid, he's then getting a free second hit and is +2. So that string already is like stupidly good. And this is basically a mix-up on block of a move that covers so much. It's kind of dumb. But 3AK before was wall splatting on normal hit, which made Zaz's wall game, especially with a half wall, stupidly broken. It was basically a touch of death, easy mode, no just frames required with 2 cursors. You do 1BB, which by the way is going to hit you even if you're stepping, because it just does, and then 3AK wall splat 6-6B B slide K ring out. Like,
yeah,
that is just too. It's too easy. It's too good. And they finally made it so if that was on a normal hit now, the 1BB, then I can't do 3AK to wall splat. I can, though, still do B slide K just frame to wall splat and still probably get the ring out. So this is why it's not that big of a deal, but it just requires execution now, because that is quite a hard link, because the time stop and then the buffering's really weird afterwards. You have to do B slide K, and it's you've basically got a 2-frame window to input that just frame perfectly.
God.
So it's going to be a bit harder to do it, but it's still possible. So what's the biggie, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And it still works perfectly fine on count hit, by the way. So if you're sidestepping,
So don't step.
which is a 3, which is it's a horizontal anyway, it will still wall splat and still kill you. So it's not even that it doesn't do it anymore; it just doesn't do it on normal hit.
Mhm.
So if you're ducking, you won't get splattered by it anymore. But I wouldn't advise ducking because I can just launch you, or do or do a 4-6B with one curse, spend it, and I get a free 2A plus B, 4B plus K, back turn B plus K combo for like 90 damage and back at the wall again. And you
some
probably
F's in
stepped it, and you probably stepped it, but it tracked you anyway, so I still got the hit. So
I saw your video on Twitter where you were doing a lot of your B launcher options, and especially 1B. And for some of the side steps, it just didn't make any sense, like you're saying. There's no reason why you should be launched. There's no reason why you should be hit on
step it. You cannot step 1BB close. I literally labbed with someone else from the Zaz Discord. I was like, right, can you help me here? Like, I'm just realizing that you can't step it. Like, what the hell? Like you physically. I think Astroth could step it one way or something retarded like that. But come on, it's a low. Vertical, hello, and you can't step it up close. It literally, the animation is it's going down to the ground, and then he just turns around, he just follows you with it. And I tried timing the step, I tried holding the step, I tried mashing the step. Nope. It just follows you. And this is off. I was doing things like 4A blocked, doing it, 4A hit, doing it. What's going on? That character is so stupid. So that
King of the
that is the thing. Yeah. So, but apparently, remember, 1B is the move that they are apparently fixing, which is good and all. But like I say,
1BB.
I'm not satisfied until well, so is 4-6B, 6-6B, 3B, 4B, 4A plus B. They're all like, I just press this vertical, not even thinking, like. When I see them sidestep, I'm like, okay, fair enough. Oh, I got the hit. Never mind. Sure, thanks, game. Yeah, and it happens so much. But so 3AK is, as I say, there's an execution barrier now. With the wall splat game is going to be a little bit harder. They have nerfed the ability to ring out off his back turn K, so this is going to matter off of count hit 6 AA. If you guys know the move, it sends him behind him, and he's got a 18 frame stun, and back turn K used to ring out. So it's not going to do that anymore. I can still wall splat off it, so that's still very strong, but not ring out. So that would matter, but it doesn't, because I've still got 755 ways to ring out stuff. So.
And that's important, right?
Yeah. Like, both his throws still reverse thing out, which is absolutely stupid. Like, in my opinion, one of them should go. It's just such a different light to the. It's such a different light to the tacky breakdown, isn't it?
Just change everything.
That needs to go. That needs to go. Jesus. Like, in my opinion, like. Zaz is definitely top 5. I don't even joke about this stupid buff Zaz thing, because what have they gone and done? Jesus Christ.
Well, yeah, I mean, Arpia, the whole thing was like a troll on Arpia, right? But I think recently he's been actually saying that he's reviewed his placement of Zaz and he's now really strong. But
still not top 5.
Still
claims. Also, just real quick. Arpia is great, yeah, but I'm actually just a stand-in for Arpia. He was supposed to be on the podcast today, right? Yeah, and he bailed on us.
Dipstick trying to go to tournaments and try and grow the UK fighting game scene. What a dipstick!
But we love him.
Yeah,
but that means
who doesn't?
But that means he can actually take some of his claims now, right? And he can't even defend them.
Yeah.
Well, this is the thing: is that I think Andy has always had a very measured view of Zaz.
Well, Arpia as well is just distorted.
A very measured but distorted view.
Well, I mean, he claims that Zaz's weak point is holding guard, right?
Yeah.
Hello.
Okay, right. This is not an opportunity to bash anybody. We're just gonna say
Well,
No.
that Andy and
No, but
Arthur's views
but I
on
would like to
Salamel
know-
are very
but-
different.
A different.
Here's something.
Yeah.
Here's something I want to know from Andy. Like, do you think it's really such a downside that Sass pulls in his opponents?
Nope.
Okay.
Not when the moves are also covering a good portion of the screen, like how I see range and how I kind of explain range is like a backstep distance away. So I would call range 0 like right in the face, range 1 a backstep away, range 2 backsteps away, and like 2.5 for like a bit in the middle in between something else. So Zaz has got a lot of good pulling moves that reach as far as range 2, so 2 back steps away with things like 4A, 6BB, and sure, you're pulling them to to Zaz's face at relatively low minus frames, but the guard damage on some of these moves as well, like 4A on its own, it's I-20, it's -2 on block, it's got incredible range, +4 on hit, 30 damage, and it does 10% guard damage off a horizontal high.
Yeah,
Yeah.
4A is mad.
There is a lot of just stuff extras. It's not just pulling them in minus frames. It's conditioning. It's controlling that amount of space, doing that guard damage, preventing the opponent spacing, which some characters, they prefer a bit of distance. So you can bully them a bit more by keeping them in. There's just a lot of benefits to it, and then we've got stupid CE. Like it's not even their turn if they're scared of CE. You just grab them. You just you pull them in your minus frames, and then you grab straight away. Like, and it's negative frames. You look at it and go, "What?" You could launch him in between that. But they're scared of CE. They're not going to do it. They're going to try and step. They're going to block. Either that or they forget about CE and they'd hit you anyway.
Too often with me, yeah.
Yeah.
Just forget Zas has a bar and I'm like, oh, good, a GI, I'm dead.
Yeah. Now, what I do want to talk about is the change that's happening to his CE. So it's kind of a good little way to go on to that.
Nice segue.
It is being changed, yes. And at first I'm thinking, oh, they nerfed it. Cool, about time. Did something to it. But then I'm reading it again, like, actually, no, they didn't really, did they? Basically, how it's going to go down now with this CE, from what we can make out from the patch notes, is when the opponent has no cursors and you do CE, it's exactly the same as the current CE, but it no longer auto-GIs highs. Which is probably also going to include throws as well. So throws and highs will also hit Zaz out of CE, which is it's something more than what it was before, wasn't it? Like, auto GIO. What were they thinking? Until you get one curse on your opponent, and then it's the same as before. So there's that.
So just quickly, when you have one curse, what was or is currently the best option?
What, from Zaz's moveset when they have one curse?
From Zaz's moveset, what would you go for right now with one curse?
It depends on ring positioning and what their life is on, or on what your life is on, because one curse mainly makes... you have access to 4-6B, B, which will be an I-16 move that will cause a lot of pushback on block. So it's a good way to, if you're losing, you've got a curse on you, I'm just going to do this and get some distance. If that hits near a wall, even with one curse, you then can, versus most characters and most angles, get 2A plus B and then the 4B plus K combo. So even off one curse, that can do like 90 damage near a wall if it hasn't already rung you out.
Okay. So the point that I was basically trying to get at was them making this... No, it's just basically, was them making the CE change basically not worth anything except for just trying to get a CE with a single curse? Like, are there instances when you would rather CE than when you would rather not CE and do something with one curse orb, or would you just blanket the best option is to save it for a CE because it has the original properties that the CE used to have.
Yeah, and this is man. Like, you can play Zaz as like I use the cursors a lot when I play. Like, they are absolutely, in my opinion, they turn Zaz from an already pretty strong character to a busted one, pretty much. Because
Okay,
yeah, because like when you have one, like especially two, like two is the magic number. I'm kind of going off how I play him in season 1 at the minute because I've not really had time to kind of truly see all the properties of his new time stop moves,
Sure.
which I'm going to get into. But with 2 cursors, that's the goal, because it was insta death near walls, 40 damage low neutral on block,
Mm-hmm.
or a half life with punish with 6/6A plus BB at tip range. That's what you could do with just 2 cursors. So I would be saving them anyway, sort of thing, for those moments. But CE, it doesn't say they use the curse, but I'm going to have to assume that they will.
Oh my god, if they don't use the curses, that would be insane.
But the reason why I think they do is because they've given Zaz another input on his CE, and it's 6 CE, where he can do he can always do the one that loses to highs.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of the amount of curse. Yes, yeah. So I can only assume that version, I've no idea if it, how the current one gives them a curse on block or hit or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's still going to do that, but he always has access to this. So they might use the curses for it. But the best thing about Zaza CE is the fact that you're going to sit on it and the opponent's going to think about it and they're not going to attack you. So you not using the CE is probably the scariest thing to them. So when they have curses, now his CE is even better. Like so that's how you use it, by not using it. Or just use it because it doesn't matter. It's that good anyway.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Like, so that's what's really stupid about it. Like, and the fact that they made it like, I want to know its damage. I can't tell, because they say with 2 curses and 3 curses, it's got more damage, and it already does 80 damage at the moment.
It's gonna be a cast situation, isn't
it? So maybe they've nerfed CE damage. Maybe the first one only do like 50 or something. Which, that's pretty fair to me. I kind of want them to do that.
Yeah.
And then they might make the second one 80, the third one 90 or something, or 70, 80, 90, something like that.
Yeah.
Because he needs it, guys. Come on.
Definitely needs it.
With 2 curses, God stamina gets restored. Like, the wording on this is so funny, because it says, and also restores God stamina. Well, all of it. It doesn't really tell you at all, does it?
It would probably be like, I don't know, 10 or 20%, but
Let's fucking hope, man. Yeah, that better be the case, because Jesus. I mean, why not, right?
That CE looks mega good.
Yeah, and then let's talk about the third one, because apparently it's then got resist impact properties. So that time where it never work anyway because it's too slow, but when you press a break attack.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I just realized something huge. The time where you pop CE because you're Zaz, you do it anyway. And then that one inconvenient time where they
do it anyway.
and then the one time that they get scared and pop soul charge, because that's a break attack, and level 3 curse CE is resist impact. Is that going to beat out soul charge too?
Yeah, that's that's I think when I was doing lol plug, when I was doing a very short season 2 patch note analysis stream, somebody mentioned that in my chat. Will resist impact RI soul charge activation?
Yes, it will. But here's the thing with soul charge, right? When you enter soul charge, you have invulnerability frames.
Yeah.
That is, for example, why Taki doesn't get pushed back with her invulnerability, but also doesn't hit the opponent.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Like, this is the big thing about RI and
Yeah.
Soul Charge is, will they be able to counteract each other? Personally, I think the only situation where RI won't work will be a Soul Charge activation.
It probably will. It will counter the wave, the explosion. But the explosion is probably handled like a projectile, right? Where you GI a projectile, it doesn't affect the cast.
Right. Yeah.
Possibly.
They have to do it because that would be because like I agree because that'd be nuts.
But also,
imagine if they
aren't
just
you-
come to a meter.
well, I guess to be honest, I guess the timing would have to be so tight to be able to try and RI a Soul Charge
think you
activation.
could do it. I don't think you like. I reckon you might not be able to do it on animation, on flash animation, when they do
of
it
course
and it
not,
just
no.
happens, like a prediction. But sometimes it's so obvious they're going to pop Soul Charge,
Yeah.
and most characters can't. Okay, so fine, can't do anything else. Might as well block.
Yeah.
But I guess you could hard read waste meter, and width
Try and get a Soul Charge RI. That would be insane.
Or I could have CE. Like, it's insane, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
we need to know how that interacts because that could be huge. But yeah, basically, it's got resist impact properties. So even if you did press a break attack, it'll beat it anyway. Also, the sword's got stamina and does even higher base damage. So, this wasn't what they needed to do with CE. They just needed to make it steppable after the flash. It's a goddamn reversal. Why is it also block pressure and a break attack and plus on block and curse on block? What are they thinking? It's an insane move.
Yeah, I think personally...
they just made it better.
Well, exactly. They made it better. The bigger problem with them making it better was that they haven't nerfed how you get curses, right? Like, you don't need to get counter hits for curses.
Yeah.
You can still get curses on normal hit. So it's still relatively easy to get them. I think if they made it harder, like it had to be counter hits, or maybe even if it had to be lethal hits, or I don't know, something like the first two are counter hits and the final one you have to get a lethal hit because of how good the CE is. Seems a little bit too easy to get curses, personally. That's just what I think. But I don't know. I could be completely wrong. Like, there could be one way to beat every single ZAS CE in Season 2. But from what we can see right now, personally, it feels a little bit like there's too much of an opportunity to be able to just stop the opponent playing the game as ZAS in Season 2.
They even make a funny little thing at the top, but they say that his soul gauge was relatively hard to use before because his critical hedge had more defensive capabilities. Even though it was so oppressive. It's kind of nuts. One last point I want to make on CE is how it loses to highs. Well, the perfect mix up with this is his front crouch 3K. Do you guys know which move I'm on about?
Yeah, full crouch 3K,
really
the
quick
high kick, which is attack crouching, gives you a 6k curse on hit, right?
Yep, that move is fantastic. Borderline needs to be a bit worse move.
It's so good.
Because it's -2 on block. The curse 6k, it's 40 damage. It's I-14 from crouch.
So
high
mad.
that tracks sidestep. So the mix-up is you block, sidestep, or use a high attack to beat CE. Well, somewhat beat CE if you're blocking.
Yeah.
And front crouch 3K deals with all of that. Or don't do that and get CE'd. It's kind of dumb. Like if they're trying to bait it out, like front crouch 3K is the perfect move to mix that up with. Like imagine in frame traps, like I do a move with neutral on block. I've got CE, I've got it, and you just want to spam like an AA or something. Front crouch 3K. And then I'll get a curse. Oh, now my CE is the normal one. That is they made it the most less commit. Like I think it should have lost to like lows or something. Like something that Like, if you're going to do high attacks all day, whatever. Like, it's not like it's going to destroy my guard or anything. It's not like it's going to punish me for just blocking.
Yeah, exactly.
They made it the most like, oh no, I blocked an AA. Oh dear. Like, it's not really as scary. So, yeah, if they still keep it the same, if they still got the curse on block plus 8, can't sidestep it after the flash, then it's people are going to be moaning more about it. The fact that it's even better with curses. The damage we need to know. I do think if they've nerfed the damage on the curseless one, I think it should do 50 damage personally. Because you know Amy's CE, she's got a 6C input, and she's got the I-12 version she can do all the time, but only does like 50 damage.
Yeah.
And then obviously when she's all got the purple roses, it does 90. Like that. I think that's what they should do with this, if that's how they want to do it. Like, make the three curses CE do 90 damage, and the curseless one do 50, because then it's not the end of the world if you get hit by it.
Yeah, I mean, 90 is still a lot of damage, but
yeah,
it's still
stupid.
Yeah.
I think it wouldn't be such an issue if, like, the curses wouldn't buff other aspects of his CE as well. And what is really most discouraging is that his frame advantage is still the same on block with the CE.
Yeah, plus 8, like, bitch, my turn.
Yeah, exactly. Like, even waiting it out is not a really good counter to it, right? Because he still can take his turn afterwards, which is really discouraging.
Yeah, I literally used the move for wall pressure. Like, I use my reversal CE on block as a guard pressure tool to get another curse at the wall.
Yeah.
Like, this is an auto GI CE that I'm using this application for. You know, predicting that they're not going to start mashing step.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't want to, because I've got 3 AK into death at the wall. so that's why they didn't do it before. So it does too much, and I think now that they've given it like another way to technically beat it out with a high. I don't know. There's just more. I'm just going to be baiting highs. It's a lot like how Aswell's spear auto GI weapon art thing.
Yeah.
Loses to highs, so Aswell's just sit there and crouch and then launch you with one crouch 1B. Because you're trying to
it is a
beat
shame.
out the Zaz is going to be doing that.
So what you're saying is basically it makes it even worse for the opponent because they can be baited to. Yeah, that's a good point.
That's what I was getting at with Front Crouch 3K, because Front Crouch 3K will deal with stepping and with highs, which are meant to be the weaknesses to this stupid CE.
Yeah. So what I was thinking, right, was like with his free curse CE, because it's a reverse impact, something you could try is to bait it out with a UB in front of him. But even if you do that and cancel the UB, and he still lands it on block on you, he's still in an advantage spot.
Yeah.
Right? That's just, it's just what's the counterplay to that? Yeah, exactly. What's the counterplay?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's called movement on a character with so good horizontals, and even his verticals are horizontals. What the fuck?
And honestly, that it's reverse impact, I think, is actually really impactful. I think more than some people might realize.
Resistant.
Because because it does affect like characters like Taki who have a fast break attack like Ninja Cannon, right?
Yeah.
But also characters that have break attacks and strings, right? That usually would be like, oh, okay, I don't have to worry him popping it right now because the string is safe with the break attack.
Yeah, exactly. So,
aside
from the critical edge, which we could talk about for another half an hour, but I do want to move on to some more moves and some changes that you think are either good or bad.
I'll go and spiel them off if you want to. Yeah, certainly. So, we don't. Now, in the trailer, in the very first new moves trailer, we see a glimpse of Zaz's soul charge. Sorry, his soul attack.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we don't see much of it. He just kind of does a cool animation. He slams him down to the ground in midair off a launch, and it looks like his back turned. But
Yes.
maybe, but the camera kind of goes away, so maybe it turns back around again. I don't know. So we have to play with that, see if he actually goes back turned. I really want to know what the speed of it is, the frames, and a very important note is, according to the patch notes, it's also a time stop move. So after doing Soul Attack, if he's got a curse, you can press B, and there's some curse stuff, there's some time stop shit going on. So, like, who knows what the combos are going to be. We need to see if that's going to be the most optimal damage, because personally, I don't want to spend meter and curses unless it's for the kill or for some crazy new thing that we don't know about yet.
Sure.
We have to see if that's going to be worth it. But yeah, so that's going to be a move to spend curses on. So we'll have to see if that's worth it or not. Some new stuff in Season 2. Now, this, I can't believe they did this, and everyone is like calling Zaz busted. Even the Zaz down players are calling him busted for this.
Yeah.
But 4A, that move I was on about earlier for pulling in,
Oh yeah.
that can time stop. That can spend curses.
Wait, is
Upon
4A
hit or
time
guard.
stoppable now?
Yeah, I will be able to spend curses on that move.
Shit, you're right.
Yeah, why did they give him that? Jesus Christ, that's insane. Because all Zaz's time stop moves, when you spend curses, the pattern is they all go up by 10s for their frames.
Mhm.
So I'll take, for instance, 1 BB, 1 curse on hit plus 6, 2 curses on hit plus 16, 3 curses on hit plus 26.
Yeah.
And even on block, it was the same. Like on block, minus 10 with 1 curse, neutral with 2 curses, plus 10 with lol for 3 curses, and and it's the same with 4/6 BB and 6/6A plus BB, and even the reversal edge BB.
Mhm.
And if it's the same with this, then holy crap, because if that's going up in 10 frames, its frames are already crazy, for the range that it has. And it's a horizontal. I thought they were going to go with, oh yeah, all of his time stop moves are all vertical. So you could step him.
well.
Obviously, this was before we kind of knew that doesn't matter about stepping. But now he's actually got a horizontal that goes, that actual meant to be horizontal that goes into them. And with assuming it goes up in plus 10s, 4A on its own is plus 2 on, minus 2 on block. So with 1 curse, if he spends it, he's plus 8.
Everything's so
He's plus
safe.
8 on block.
Yeah, that's insane.
With 2 plus 18, with 3 plus 28. Okay,
Just gonna
sure.
jump out the window now.
And on hit, there's going to be even more. Now, I'll let you guys know, because I don't think this is common knowledge. But I did a bit of labbing with one of his other time stop moves. So if there's a move like a time stop move that's plus 28 on block, right? No, that doesn't mean I can get a free 28 move on the opponent. It just means that with time stop, they're stuck in standing guard. So I can hit them with a low for free if it's fast enough. So they can't block low to block it if the time stop is too much.
Right.
So if we're doing the maths right, 4A blocked with 2 curses plus 18 on block. If that pulls in, I can get a free like 1B or 2K or something. You can't block it. That's like, if that is the case, it can't be. That sounds so stupid, doesn't it? Well, that's literally how it works with 4/6 BB at the wall, because it's plus 16 on block with 3 curses, 4/6 BB, and at the wall when there's no pushback. If I do an immediate 1B, which does 20 damage, they can't block it. I've even tried to block it in training mode. I can't block it. I'm stuck in standing guard. So that's how it currently works at the moment. So if I can use that to literally win, if you block this with 2 curses, then that's not even right.
It's not even right.
Much range. It's not. Oh, by the way, like, if you've got 3 cursors on this thing, and if we're doing the maths right, that's plus 34 on hit. I can probably combo CE after this.
Just stop talking, Andy, please.
Yeah.
You're making me depressed.
So 4A, like, he didn't need that, but okay, he's got it. So we have to see if that's actually the case. It can't be. That sounds too busted to me, but it's not stopping Zaz, is it? Clearly.
Definitely not, no.
Other moves real quick. His reversal edge is the slowest one in the game. I think Astros might either be tied or slightly faster, but they're making it 2 frames faster. And you know how the new property is where you can now block reversal edge after absorbing an attack and it won't go into the clash.
Yes.
That's obviously the new change to reversal edge. And Zaz has got an input where if you block reversal edge, he can spend cursors there. He's got a time stop there as well. And the input is 4. It's reversal edge blocked 4. It's really weird. I don't know why.
Wow. Okay.
Now it doesn't with this one. It doesn't mention on block or hit or not. So I'm assuming it's only going to be on block because otherwise it goes into the the clash mini game on hit.
Yeah.
Now Zaz reversal edge is +2 on block anyway right now.
Uh-huh.
So with 1 curse, is that +12 on block? Sure, I'll take it. But with 2 curses, +22 on block. 3 curses +32 on block. Okay, that's basically a frame trap into CE. Like, what on earth? I don't know if that is going to be a worth it curse spend. I mean, that's basically forcing the opponent to respect. That's for sure. But we're spending curses to do it. Don't know.
I mean, you have various other options to spend curses on now anyway.
Yeah, I don't know if I wouldn't say he needed that because it was +2 on block anyway, and I've got the threat of just CE there, to be honest. Even if I had 1 curse, so I don't know, but that's another thing that's there which I need to lab.
But there's a question I have. Zaz has a combo where he can combo into RE, right? Like where RE hits basically the opponent.
I know which one you're about.
Yeah, wouldn't it be possible to spend the curses there and maybe even get the combo running for longer?
I don't know if it's going to be on air hit. If the input's on air hit, then wow, that could be cool looking. Some fancy combo videos there. But
oh no, I'm giving the Zaz players ideas.
Stop it.
Hey, thanks, man. That's going on the list, man. Good thinking. Yeah. You're on about 4/4A + B lethal hit. Which, by the way, is indirectly buffed. You know how they have nerfed the term box stepping. You can't. You can't backstep.
You can't
and
8-6G or 2-6G now.
Yeah. So the fact that you can't do that anymore has made Zaz's backstep killer, which was I-20 vertical, meant to be vertical.
Right.
That's going to be a bit better now to lethal hit with. And when that lethal hits, reversal edge does a launch into my standard combo is about 110 damage. With curses, it's like 140 if I wanted to kill you. If I wanted to, spend the curses to kill you. So I don't know if that's going to work on air hit reversal edge, but thank you, Baddy. I'm going to test that one now. Cheers.
Got that, Baddy.
So I don't know how viable or how much that one's going to matter. Definitely the 4A one is the hugest one. And I still don't know how important his soul attack curse spend is going to be.
Yeah.
He's got 2 other new moves. I'm not going to talk about them, though, because I've looked. So these are 2 moves from older games. He's got. I can't even say the names. I'm going to embarrass myself trying to pronounce them. But the notation is 214 B + K, which I believe is a Soulcalibur 4 6 B + K pull-in.
Breath of Mushusu.
Yep, thank you. I'm glad you sounded. Yeah, that one. Have to see what that move is going to be like. And then there's 22B plus K, which I looked on. If you guys want to have a go at trying to say that one.
Enlil's punishment. No, that's not too bad.
Yeah. I could say punishment, but I didn't want to mess up the first word.
Enlil, Onlil, who knows?
Yeah, but that is some weird like flip move. I looked at the move list on the Soulcalibur 3, and that's what they called that move. It was like this weird flip. So I don't know how well they're going to play into the game, but hey, Zaz needed them apparently, so there they are. And lastly, his Soul Charge standing mix-up is even better because now he can do his Soul Charge grab. You know, the really cool Darth Vader like force. Boom! I can't remember the
Force
oh man,
choke,
how
I think
embarrassing.
it is, right?
Well, I'm trying to remember his quote that he says when he does it.
Oh, I can't
But I forgot, and I'm not going to like embarrass myself saying it wrong. So that is really cool when he does it. 80 damage, plus 8 on break. Now does chip damage because apparently throws needed that, and he could that was just a front throw before, but now they've changed the input, so it's 236A plus G, or he could now do it off a reverse break, 214A plus G. So there is a 50-50 throw mix into that throw, which is really good. I think I was the only Zaz player to think this, but he doesn't need a lot of things, but I don't think he even needed that because how I used to do it, I used to be in Soul Charge, you know, when I'd actually go in Soul Charge, the rare times that I do.
Yeah,
right. You would automatically be wanting to break front throw because of that stupid throw. Then I would take advantage of stepping to the side and doing reverse throws because his side throws are really good. They do like 55 and 65 damage into Oki.
Oh yeah, they're super good.
And it would still make sense for you to break the front throw. So I would just be getting free side reverse throws on you. But no, they got rid of that cool little, you know, smart decision. Oh, wow, that's a cool bit of tech I can do. No, they just make it even more brain dead. Just 50-50 anyway. Who cares? So now it doesn't matter.
Who cares indeed?
I know, right? Like, oh, there goes my cool little thing I kept going on about. And now it's just irrelevant now. So yeah, doesn't matter. You can basically get 80 damage if you guess right on a throw. Cool. Needs it.
Definitely.
Other than that, real quick, we'll talk about fixes, yada yada yada. 6BK.
Yes. You can now get a curse from it, right?
Both know? Yeah, according
6BK
to this,
it's the knee, right? The one that you can get from was it 6BB lethal hit to 6BK? Is the follow-up? Yeah.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. So this move before was very pointless to use outside of those kind of combos because it was 20 damage, not 20 damage, I-20, minus 16 on block for reward that you could get from doing other moves that basically did the same thing but faster and safer. So it was very irrelevant to use this move, but now, okay, cool, this move is now good as well. So yeah, you can get, so it's I-20, and if the damage is unscaled, this move on its own did 34 damage before, and if you do 6k, if it's not scaled, that's 54 damage right there, and I'm getting a curse. This will definitely be a whiff punisher.
6BK into curse.
Yeah, this would be my go-to whiff punisher.
Okay.
Because before I would use 6B plus KA, 6k. You know, the mid-high curse, which is still really good. It does 60 damage and a curse. Well, if I do this one, it's got more range, 2 frames faster, and less risk if I mess it up and they block in time. Because obviously, if I'm too slow with my 6B plus KA, then they could duck the second hit and punish me. Whereas this one, I'm only minus 12 now. It used to be minus 16. It's now minus 12,
Oh,
which
good.
might not even matter versus some characters, especially Nightmare. Oh, lol, just do it to him anyway.
Yeah, just throw it out. Dude ain't gonna be able to punish
yeah.
that.
Yeah, so though there's a little ninja nerf. This is probably cool for anyone who isn't a Zaz player, but they've decreased the amount of guard stamina the first attack does. So this might matter to 6BB, which is a move that I spam a lot, and everyone should. But apparently Zaz isn't good. Yeah, they won't do it anyway. Everyone thinks I just overhype Zaz because I used to play a shit character in 5. They just think that I overvalue his tools or some shit. But anyway, 6BB.
Yeah.
I know, right? It's brutal, isn't it? It does 14% guard damage and is minus 6 on block.
Oh wow.
That's really, really freaking good. And that's obviously going to get ninja nerfed in its guard damage because the first hit is getting less guard damage. So who knows? Maybe it's only reduced by 1. Maybe it's reduced by 5. Who knows? But something that I'm going to lab for sure. But that's basically a whiff punisher, that is, in my opinion. Now, the only thing with that, what probably other Zaz players are thinking, well, 6BB at tip range is a lethal hit anyway into a combo, which is probably going to be better than this one.
Yeah.
Because you can still convert into a combo off 6BB lethal hit, which I usually opt for when at the start of a round. So we're probably going to have to get used to the ranges and sort of say, oh, he's whiffed at this range, 6BB, or oh, he's whiffed somewhere closer, 6BK. I think that's
they're
how.
just some really good options.
Yeah, like that is really good. Like in terms of a whiff punisher, anyway. Like maybe Zaz play, like maybe they don't. I'm always going to tell everybody that they need to value their curses and like literally give up some damage mid combos to apply them. They're that important.
Yeah.
And using this as a whiff punish to get that curse is going to be the way to go if the damage is, worth it with this particular combo, because 6A, 6K, the horizontal mid I-20 move into 6K, that's 35 damage and a curse. Form Crouch 3K, which I've said before, is 40 damage and a curse.
Mm-hmm.
So this needs to be a bit more damage than those two. And if it is, then there we go. I can use this.
Yeah.
So nice option. I'm going to have fun with that. Then we've got K6. Probably a move that you guys might think, what the hell is that move?
Yeah.
Do you know which one I'm talking about, guys?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
You do? Yeah. So it's I-16 high attack. So it was basically used for ring outs. Getting a 2-2B, and then if the ring edge was 2 Zaz's left, you could K6 ring them out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like posting those combos on Twitter. You probably find a lot of them. They always look cool. I did one where I did 3B, 6K wall splat, 6XP, 6K ring out. Oh, it was so satisfying. Wait, I mean K6. I think I just said 6K there, but I mean, yeah, K6. It looks so cool. But apparently now, if I get a count hit with this move with 3 curses, I get a lethal hit. That's the first non-curse spend move that now matters how many curses I've got.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that is very odd. Like it's counter hit off an I-16 high, so it's not going to be the hardest thing to achieve. I could probably do it post guard break. I could probably do it if I could do it in a stun combo. That would be interesting. But yeah, it's I-16 horizontal. We'll have to see what the combo is going to be and how long of a stun. It'll probably just add to his stupid ring out game. In all honesty, so it'll probably be that. I want to see what that combo is. That'll be fun to use.
Mm-hmm.
Is it worth? I mean, and this, I guess this, depending on how good that is, is going to depend on if it's going to be more important to go for 2 curses or 3 curses. You know how I said that it's more important, in my opinion, to aim for 2 curses. If you get 3, that's great, cool. But 2 is the
Sweet spot
ideal
is
number.
2. Yeah.
Yeah. But 3 is cool. If they just basically got a free one for them mashing, and you've just pressed 6k or something, cool, you get another one.
Mm-hmm.
But like if depending on how important or how strong that combo is going to be, it could be worth going for 3. So we'll have to see with that one. I'll talk about 4-4-A. Do you guys know what I'm on about 4-4-A? It's this
It's a big sweeping horizontal mid, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it is, yeah. Now, this move was... I'm glad they've done this to it. Okay, cool. Like, he couldn't really use this move if the opponent knew the matchup very well, because it was minus 16 on block.
Mm-hmm.
And there was pushback, but I even labbed all this. Every character in the game, if they blocked 4-4-A up close, could punish it before, when it was minus 16.
Right.
But now they've made it minus 12.
Wow.
And that's quite substantial, because if characters can't punish it, this is going to give Zaz an even better mid-range spacing game.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is why I think Zaz is so crazy. Like he by default is good against spacing characters because he pulls them in, but he can play a mid-range keep out type game. It requires more work because you have to use more single hits and backstepping, and being ballsy with your 2A when they want to come in and stuff. Like do more of a neutral mid-range type game.
Mm-hmm.
And this. Well, dang, right? This is a horizontal mid that I can use to push them away and be safe at the same time. Like, a lot of characters could have just punished me anyway if they knew the matchup. But
Yeah, if
now
they knew what to do.
If that's not really going to matter anymore, probably versus maybe Wrath and some, like, especially at tip range, like, that's a lot of distance. So, yeah.
Yeah, his mid-range
is
going to be amazing.
That's going to... that's probably one of the first things I'm going to lab as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Is who can punish that at close range?
Literally nobody.
Because more than likely, like probably Wrath and a couple of other I-12, and maybe Taki with 4B or something. But I can't quite.
Punish, but yeah.
Yeah, so that's nice to have. And I want to talk about this other move, and. When you look at Twitter...
If we could make this the last move that we look at, because we do have some questions from the chat.
Sure. No worries. This is the good timing, the last move anyway, that I had to go through.
Perfect.
So, yeah, 1-1-B. Probably a forgetful move, because it wasn't very good until now, by the looks of it, because it's from 8-way run. It's this like little low poke.
Yeah, he uses the end of his scythe, right? Not the blade, but the other end.
He uses the end of it. Mm-hmm. So whenever you make that mistake to go to Twitter and look at what people say about what Zaz needs to be a viable character, well, to be a good character.
Yeah.
When you make that mistake, and they say they could all use a low that was good on normal hit, because he needs that.
Yeah,
it's not like he has one with curses or soul charge or anything. And this, in my opinion, he's now got. I've been thinking about it ever since his patch notes come out, and I think he's gone ahead and got an even better low to use versus early opponents. Because 1-1-B, it's not reactable. I gave this a good lab, and I set the computer to do 2-2-B, 1-1-B, just to see if I could easily see it, and not really. And how you'd use this move anyway is buffering it in 8-way run. So you'd run up and you'd be buffering 1-1-B, and then it would come out.
Sure.
And you'd do it. So the reason why this now matters, the reason why I'm mentioning it, even giving it a mention, is it's neutral on block now. It used to be -4. There was very little reason to use this move before, because all of his other lows would ended up giving him -4 on hit.
Right.
On normal hit.
Yeah.
But this now gives him neutral on hit off an unseeable low.
Oh, yeah.
And they're increasing its damage. It used to do 14. doesn't say by how much, but if it's 18 or 20, then wow, that's pretty impressive. It used to be minus 20. It's going to be minus 16.
Yep.
And the opponent's also going to be stuck in crouching after they get hit by it. So they're going to be left in crouch when it hits. So they really gave him.
That's an amazing low. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's gonna seem slow, but we have to remember that Zaz is the god of controlling movement.
Yeah, exactly.
And you don't want to press, and this is going to be an annoying poke that you get hit by, and he's 0 on hit. And obviously, Zaz is also from crouch as well. Then at that point, you could like trade 2As. Or Zaz could read the 2A and get a 4-4K lethal hit auto GI. Or he could give even less Vox and just CE. And you've also got, you're in crouch, you've got the perfect mix up with from crouch 3K there. Like, it's not plus on hit, low, but he didn't need it anyway, but he's almost got it now. And that's just crazy to me.
Yeah.
So
overall,
I'm going to play around with this move a lot, and it could mean that because beforehand I would use grabs, which I'm going to use even more now because they do chip damage.
Yep.
B plus KK and the cancel, which were good at dealing with standing guard, and now he's got this.
So just like, even more stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, like so maybe I'm overhyping it. I'm, as I say, I get told a lot that I overvalue Zaz's tools. But some of his stuff, like, I think that could be quite an important move to his to his moveset. So yeah, those nerfs really didn't do injustice to an even better CE, more conditioning, 4A time stop, a better whiff punisher, a better spacing tool, and a better low. There we go. Both of Zaz, guys.
In conclusion, buff Zaz, as Andy says.
Yeah.
Well, thank you both so much for your insights on your characters and the changes coming in Season 2. It's given us a lot to think about because Taki is a character who is very much in contention, depending on where people put her in the tier list. Zast, not so much. We do have a few people who like to say he's not as good as he is. But generally, I think people know that he's very good. And this is just going to make him even better. So, we're now going to move on to the final section of the podcast, which I wanted to do but didn't really introduce because I didn't realize how it was going to go. But we seem to have maintained a steady audience, and I wanted to get people to ask questions to our guests. And we have some, so we're going to go through them now. We're going to start with Baddy giving us answers, and then we'll go to Andy, just so it's a uniform selection.
Yeah, man. Sounds good, bro.
So, the first one is, when are they buffing Zas? That's from Frying Berries in the chat. It's going to be on Monday when Season 2 drops. We can all answer that question. We don't have the time, but it's Monday Japan time, so who knows? Maybe they'll put an announcement on their official website. Maybe Okubo will tweet about it. Who knows? Second one, who will we main in Season 2? So, Baddy, you first.
So, I don't think it's going to change much from Season 1. I'm still maining Taki. The thing is, how viable is she going to be, right? Is she going to be a decent tournament character? If that's not the case, I might pick up another character for tournaments, but in my spare time, in my free time, I definitely keep playing Taki because I really enjoy the character and I have a lot of fun with her.
And Andy?
Yep. So if Zwine makes it into Season 2, that's your guys' only hope that I don't play this character. But otherwise, so sign the pension, guys. Get Zwei in the game so you don't have to deal with ring outs and bullshit. But my real answer otherwise is I'm going to try out Hild because she looks fun and interesting. But Zaz, man, I've devoted too much time to this character otherwise to ditch him.
Fair play. everybody already knows the answer to that question. When it comes to me, I don't have a main. I'm a
Maxi?
no. So just a bit of a story. I went to Battle of Destiny, fought Andy and Milo's and a few other people, and I played Maxi. And personally, for my first ever offline tournament, I think I did fairly well. But Maxi was kind of the person or the character that I really was enjoying, because not only was I winning, because a lot of people don't know how to fight against Maxi, but I really loved his. But I really loved his AGIs. Like it's a really cool mechanic. Problem is, this game for me has so many cool things from different characters that I can't just stay on one character. So, like, Mitsu has really good neutral and some really good stance stuff, but not enough, which is why I ditched him and called him boring. Maxi has really good close range stuff. When you hit his AGIs, it feels really satisfying, but his neutral's garbage. Yoshimitsu, the glue boy, I really love his stance moves. I love the way his voice acting is. I love generally most things about him, but I get really bored having to do the same things over and over again because his lows are garbage. So it's literally just standing in mids. Like 1k is probably his best low. And that's the only low that you can really spam apart from maybe Dragonfly K. Other characters I played, like I've got a C rank Grow. Again, really fun character because he's edgy, but neutral pretty bad. So you know what, I've played a lot of characters since Soulcalibur 6 has come out. But I don't have a main, and I'm leaning into that. Like, I wanted to be a Mitsu main when it came out, but I'm going to be the guy who never has a main. Like, you'll see me playing ranked as a Taki, as a Maxi, as a Mitsu, as a Yoshi, as a Hilda, as a Haomaru, like everybody. Okay. So yeah, I mean, I've been messing around with Taki and ranked for the past couple of days, and she's fun. Like, her possession stance is really, really fun, but her range sucks. So yeah, you know. That's it.
Plays as.
Never. Never. So yeah, cool. So that's the answer to who will we main in season 2. Next one is from Haber. Whose changes seem the most disappointing? So I know we only covered Taki and Zas in depth, but looking over everybody, whose looks the most disappointing? And Baddy, start off with you.
Well, from what I've seen in the patch notes, the most disappointing has gotta be Killick. It seems like this character hasn't got any attention from the devs, just barely anything. Like, the page is such a wasteland. It's not even filling, I believe, half the screen of it. And this is just sad, especially because Killick mains are asking for changes to the character, right? Even if you disagree if Killick is a bottom tier character or not, right? If the majority of Killick players are really not satisfied how the character currently plays, it definitely needs some attention. And Killick just didn't get it, especially compared to other characters like Mitsurugi got, I think, an entire new install, which is a lot to play around with, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And Andy?
Yeah, very good point about Killick. I was just kind of scrolling up all the notes because I feel like I've not even read them all properly. You know, there's so much new stuff to, you know, for everybody. Like who got the most love, who didn't. It's kind of a hard question, but I looked at Killick while Baddy was saying, and yeah, I definitely see what you mean. But come on, give Inferno some love. He's only got like a new soul attack. Like, what the hell? So that's my answer.
So Inferno got the most disappointing. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Poor Inferno. What a lonely
Poor
man
guy.
with his one change. What will he do? Next one from Haber. Hilda, smack or pass?
Smack.
Yeah. Andy, you?
Smack.
Yeah. And me, triple smack.
100%.
All right.
Cool. We just got one from Wish, but that will be at the end.
Alright.
Oh, Haber, giving Inferno a new move. A waste of time or a cool little thingy?
Well, I think it actually was mandatory. Like, I'm not even joking here. The thing is, every character gets a Soul Charge install, and this is the only thing Inferno got. It's just for consistency reasons, mostly.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, same. I agree with that. I mean, look how lonely it looks in that patch notes, man.
God.
It's so sad.
We're gonna-
Poor 15 out of 26.
This is going to end up being sent to Okubo, and he's going to make him a playable character online, and you're going to all regret saying this.
All those.
Yeah, well, we need someone to deal with that as well, man. Maybe he's the one to do it.
Yeah, but then we just get 2 Aswells, and you don't want that. From Shaddy,
True.
how likely is season 3?
Oh, that's a good question. I think it mostly depends on how many people are going to stick with season 2, right?
Mhm.
Main driving force is going to be the sales of DLCs mostly, right? Because like the okay for a next season is coming from Bamco.
Yeah.
Right. So Project Soul can think about doing it however they like, right? But Bamco has to sign it off, and they will look at the numbers of the sales on it. Right? Does it drive any money? That's
Yes, exactly.
sadly the reality, right? But I
Yeah,
think
pretty
a lot
much.
of people are hyped, and I think most of the Soulcalibur base are buying the DLCs. So if Project Souls plans a season 3, I think it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I think if we all, every single Soulcalibur related post they post on Facebook and Twitter, we all do what we did with that poll where we all go, Soulcalibur, fuck yeah! If we do a whole bunch of that on every single post, if we, go to tournaments and like show how much we still love it, tell our friends and do all that jazz. Like, I even do that at work, like I'm that guy who would say, hey, I play this game. No one knows what it is, because it's not the most mainstream game on the
Yeah, of
in
course.
the world. And I'm like, it's basically like Tekken with weapons. How sick is that? And they're doing a season 2, and the devs are giving it, love, and it's a really cool game, and there's a load of stuff. Like, and just trying to get people's attention. And there's enough people who are doing their best with I mean, we're all trying to get something going on with that. That's the whole reason why we're doing things like these podcasts, isn't it?
Mhm.
To show that we're alive, and to show, look, we are a community. Let's show them that we're here. We will support you no matter how many seasons you want to make, and that's what we can do to hopefully make it possible. And there's definitely room for Zwei to be a season 3 DLC character.
He's never going to stop.
So it's not
He
like they've
just
not got
wants Zwei.
characters they're going to run out of.
No, it's true. And, I'm kind of the same thing. I mean, that's
So
kind
that's what I think about that.
Yeah, I mean, I
Season
agree.
3, baby.
I completely agree with that. I think we just...
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, I was muted. Sorry about that. Yeah, I was muted on Discord, but I wasn't muted on stream, so that was weird.
Yeah, sorry, I was worried if my internet thingy connection went then, but no. Okay.
No, I don't know when that
I
happened.
thought you went there. I thought I talked to myself. I was like, keep talking.
No.
Hopefully someone says something soon.
Yeah, right. But yeah, basically, I'm of the same mindset. That's partly the reason why I wanted to get in contact with the tournament organizers and leaders and owners of Soulcalibur UK and EU Discords, because if we want this game to continue and we want it to grow, we need to keep pushing. So as much as it's fun to like shit on the game and say things are bad, we need to find what's great about the game, and then we need to make sure that those things keep happening. So if there's stuff like this, like the podcast, there's the tournament on Sunday, there's Elf and Red Beans thing, the Azure Arena, there are individual streamers as well and content creators. If we can just make sure we support each other, then we'll just continue to convince Bamco that this game deserves more and more and more attention. So, to answer the question, how likely is season 3? It's all down to us, basically. It's all down to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. From Wish, this is probably more for Andy. I don't really know about me or Baddy, but what were your favourite tournaments so far that you've attended? So Baddy first, as usual, but yeah, I don't know much about your tournament history, Bad, so you may have done more than I know. But yeah, let us know.
I did, I believe, 5 this year. So I have 2 tournaments I really enjoyed. The first one was Button Check. Obviously, like the name says, it's in the Czech Republic.
Nice. That's a good pun. I like that.
Yeah. It was really enjoyable because they had some really great ideas how to make it interesting. For example, they handed out this play money, basically, right, to every contestant that participated. I was like 15 play money bills, and you could basically use it for money matches against other people, right?
Oh, wow.
And you could take those and go over to this counter and trade it in for some prizes, right?
Okay.
That's such a great idea, and it was fun, and it made it more entertaining. There were like, well, okay, there was Blaze Blue for the Switch. Maybe not a lot of people want that, but I mean, that's the stuff they basically had to offer, and everyone was actually excited about it, and you saw like those money matches happening everywhere. So that was something really memorable about it, and I think it really worked, this idea for them. Also, I met a lot of the Czech people I knew from the online communities, which was great to see. Panto Crater was there. Was nice getting to know him as well. And basically, we had some really cool Soulcalibur people there. That was great. And then there was Venality. This tournament had a much higher production, and it had, I believe, Skill versus Ganondorf in the finals, which was so hyped to watch. There's especially this one moment where Skill GIs the projectile of Ganondorf and punishes him in recovery with the CE. It was such a play to see.
Oh my god, that sounds sick.
Nice.
So yeah, is that your full tournament history, Bads?
It's not my full history. It's just 2 tournaments that I really enjoyed. Exactly, yeah.
Okay, cool. What about you, Andy? All the tournaments that you've dominated.
Hey, man. So it's kind of like a 2-part. I kind of see like a 2-part thing, really, because at the very start of Soulcalibur 6, I think I did like 7 or 8 tournaments where Holy Carp went on a win streak, and he won like the first like 6 of them. I came like a salty second place for like 5 out of 6 of them, I think.
Oh wow!
So props to him and that. And then I finally managed to beat him at Versus Fighting 2019 in top 8 on the big screen. Like my first, that's the first time I'd ever beaten him, knocked him out of the tournament. Every single tournament before then, if me and him were in it, he would have knocked me out. And this is, and I'm talking Soulcalibur 5 and 6 until that point. So you can imagine how satisfying that was to me to finally do that.
Holy Carp's a beast,
quite,
so
Yeah,
GGs.
It was impressive moment. And so Versus Fighting was fun, especially the second day, because we basically all met up for casuals, and we did like a hype UK team tournament with we had it was pretty much like the dream UK team. Pretty much we had myself, Holy Carp, Silas, Neon, and we also had Zero in there as well, and Valerax at the time. Milo's had to go home, I believe, the day before, so he couldn't be in it, but other than that, it was pretty much the dream team. And we overcome France. I don't know if you guys seen it, but there is a video of us beating the French. Zero went on a massacre. He beat like 4 people in a row. Zero did.
Oh really?
He beat man, he'll remember it better than me, but we was also hyped for him. He beat Ails, he beat Kayane, he beat Jason, the Mina player, and Aswell. I think Aswell was the first character who beat Ganon's Aswell. And then
okay.
so he went on a mad one. It was so hyped. Like everyone because Gannon was the first opponent on the French team, and was all saying to herself, "Oh, Aswell, who's going to fight Aswell first? Oh God!" And then I was about to step up first because I was like, oh, "If someone's got to do it, I mean, I might as well try and take out the Aswell at least."
Yeah.
And then Zero pushed me out of the way, saying, "No, go on, I'll just do it."
Like a triumphant hero.
Yeah, it was, and it was a glorious moment. Like there was so many hype, like, and that tourney was recorded, and not tourney, sorry, that team little thing was recorded and is on YouTube, so I can repost that in the UK Discord if people want to. But
Yeah, for sure.
But it was really hype, so that was really cool. And I've done some others. I went to Mix Up. That was probably the biggest tournament I've been to ever. And the second time I ever went abroad for Soulcalibur. The first one was for Brussels in Belgium.
Nice.
And Mix Up was really good. I kind of I didn't do too well in that tournament. I got sent to losers by Gannon, ironically, and fuck as well, and then got knocked out by Hayote. Yeah, Killick, which man, I was a bit salty about it, to be honest. But it was just one of those games where you've only got a first to two setting, and you have to adapt fast. And you know when you've not played someone before, and they just happen to have the timing that always counter hits you, and you've got so little time to adjust it. It was just one of them where I kind of got in my own head with my timings. I was holding on to block, like, oh, fuck's sake, okay, I'll hold block even longer. And then he played really well, props to him. And that's just what it'd be like in tournament life, you know.
Yeah.
First to two, anything can happen. And well played to him there. So other than my placing, Mix Up was so cool because that's the first time I ever got to meet Party Wolf and Linkors. They travelled all the way.
Oh, wow.
So I got to meet them. That was really cool. Like, with Party Wolf, he might remember this, but we met up with them all before the tournament. And there was all eating out at some restaurant, and me and Holy Carp got there late, and we arrived. And the first time I seen Linkors and Party Wolf, I went up to Party Wolf first, and I was so like in awe that, wow, you're Party Wolf from you're the guy who watched on the stream. Like, I got all my words mixed up. I was like, oh, hi Andy. Like, well, I mean, I called him me. Like,
good job.
He probably, I know, I owned it. So that was funny. I don't know if he remembers that or not, but I sure do.
Well,
I
send him a DM.
Yeah, if he's so that was really cool to meet them guys, and was awesome. But yeah, other than my placing, if I placed better, then I probably would have said that tournament first.
Yeah,
that was just one where my most recent two tourneys was Battle of Destiny, where I got revenge on Milo's for beating me at Community Caliber.
Yes, you did.
Fuck them PCs and that guy that caused this whole stupid blah 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 blah. And then we did. I also went to a Scottish local as well at the 1st of November.
Oh, you went to MIG, right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, and that was cool because I'm really great pals with Silas. Who has been my training, but I feel bad. I was intending to mention him, at the start. As like a big sort of influential player to where I am now, and I'm like really good mates with him. We've been playing for like basically the whole time we've been playing Soulcalibur. Met him at the start of Soulcalibur 5 all the way. We've been like training. He's like my main sparring buddy, basically, and a
good sparring buddy to have, to be honest.
Yeah, man, it's sick. Like, we've helped each other get so much like better. Like, we like proper intense set. Like the mind games when we played just make no sense to probably anybody else. Like, yeah, it's the kind of crazy game. He kind of really hates Zaz at the moment now, because he's basically broken and you can't step him.
Yeah.
and he's got really bullshit stuff. Like we're not been playing that much recently. He's recently moved to PC, as you guys probably are aware. And of course, yeah, he won the PC tourney. Finally, people get to fear Silas.
To play Silas, yeah.
Yeah, man.
So if you had to
Like,
pick one like tournament memory, what would it be? Like the best one?
I will still say versus fighting. Because versus fighting 2019 for my triumph over Carp and nearly beating Skill. I don't know if you guys watched it or not, but Skill knocked me out of that. But it was 2-2, like final round and everything. Like I was that close to taking it from him.
Could have been the best player in the world, Andy, and you blew it.
Yeah, but now, but now I can say to myself, well, I lost to the world champion, so you know.
That's very true. That is very, very true.
Can't really complain. So that's what I'm gonna like gloat about whenever I mention that tournament. Yeah, it was the world champion. So I mean, what else was I meant to do?
Exactly. Cool. So
yeah, that's my answer to that.
Sweet. That question has been logged, Angel, and we will get to it. So bear with us. Another one from Habba. Fast answer, no what if. Just say, who do you think is going to be the best in season 2? Baddy, go. You've got 10 seconds.
The best character, you mean?
Best character, 10, 9.
Sass, probably.
Okay. Andy, what about you? 10 seconds. 10, 9.
Zwei.
7.
It
has to be a current character.
As well. Until they nerf him.
Yeah. I would actually have to agree with that as well. Cool. From Frying Berries, I like this question. When is the waifu tier list and why is Taki number 1? Second part of it, I don't agree with. But waifu tier list, is that something we could do, Baddy? Can we post that somewhere? Have a whole podcast around a waifu tier list?
Do you feel like making one?
I would make one in a bloody heartbeat, mate.
Well, you're free to do so.
Perfect. Next Friday's podcast is just going to be talking about waifus. So yeah, when is it? Who knows? We'll make one if you guys want one. It will just be a bit of fun. From Angel Step Style, who do you think? Oh no, what do you think will be the top 5? Oh no, sorry. Who do you think will be top 5 in season 2?
Well, I already said Sus. And
this is in no particular order, so like just top 5.
Yeah, Sass, and for the rest I really don't know because there are so many variables at work right now.
Yeah. Okay,
it's
so
like Ivy's patch notes, for example. Ivy's patch notes, for example, look really good, but I don't think they are so big in comparison to what Sus got.
Yeah. So you're just sticking with putting Zas in the top 5, but you're not confident saying the other 4.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, fair enough. Andy?
As for me, as well Zaz, Ivy, Mina, and who else is in this game?
Wait. He said season 2, not season 1.
Excuse me? Yeah, no, I'm not even joking. No, season 2 definitely. I'm not. Yeah, season 2 is what I meant.
So you've still got Siegfried.
Siegfried. Yeah.
Okay, I was about to list off some more, but
I don't think it changed. Like until I'm proven wrong, I want to be proven wrong, because we have no idea about half these new moves that some characters are getting.
Yeah.
And with Soul Attack. I'm so happy they implemented that because, as we know, some characters hated being like Taki, like probably Talim and some other short range characters. Yeah. They're going to be way more better. And Servi got a good billion buffs as well, didn't he? Like, good for him. Like, you never know. He could be like kind of good now.
Going to be IGDRing as well across the screen now.
Yeah. Yeah. So
yeah, Maxi got some good stuff. So you know,
we have to look at all the new moves and stuff. But at the minute, just looking at the patch notes, the fact that they made they either didn't nerf enough the best characters, or they just did what they did to Zaz and give him more shit. That's why I still think that they're the same until we know more.
Yeah. And personally, I will reserve judgment because my list is probably going to change literally from day to day. Cool. I think so. If anybody has any more questions, feel free to ask them now. Otherwise, we'll close out the stream and the podcast. So I'll give everybody like a couple of seconds, like 30 seconds to a minute. If you want to ask any more questions or if you have any statements, just let us know. Cool. Shout out to Navo. Well, thank you, Gravy. I appreciate you. Even though you're going to play a top 1 character come season 2, I still love you.
I mean, I can't be mad for people wanting to play a strong character, right?
No, of course you can.
Oh, yeah, you can, definitely, but...
Oh, Gravy. Now I'm even prouder of you. Make you a mod in my channel.
For example, with season 1, I was happy that people kept jumping onto Aswell, that we saw more and more Aswell, because if we see that, the developers see that, and they have to acknowledge it's an issue, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's generally what generally what you should do with characters that are more on the better side. If you want them to be nerfed, then you just play them and you show the developers that they are actually as good as people say they are.
And that's exactly why Mina keeps getting buffed, because she's boring as shit. Nobody plays her.
Yeah.
She's stupidly good, and she's just going to keep getting good.
Exactly. So we got another question from Eyelash Wish here. If you don't know who Eyelash Wish is, he's the only Yoshi who's actually sniffed glue before he plays. So your top 5 favorite players.
My top 5 favorite players. Oh boy.
Yeah, 5 favorite players.
So hands down, it's got to be skill. Not because he's an amazing player, that's on top of it, but because he's a really fun guy to be around.
Mm-hmm.
There's just, I don't know, he's just such a happy person.
He's very happy.
You just gotta love him. He's amazing.
Yeah. 4 more.
4 more. Well,
quick list. Don't think about it. Top 5. Go.
Yeah. Well, I pretty much enjoy the company of Arpia. I think he's a funny guy.
Mm-hmm.
He has pretty spicy takes I really mostly don't agree with, but that's another topic.
Yeah.
Right. Milos is also super fun to be around, and he's a really lovable guy.
Yeah.
Right.
You got 3 more. 2 more, sorry.
2 more. Well, it's really tough because don't know.
If you don't have a top 5, it's fine. We've got your top 3.
I really don't. Like, I love a lot of Soulcalibur people, but like, who do I really hold dear, or who do I really like especially value to put in a top 5 list?
Yeah.
It's just too tough, to be honest.
What about you, Andy?
So, Holy Carp, Silas, Scallywag. He is also an awesome dude. Subscribe to him and follow him on Twitter, because he tries his best also with getting content out there for people, willing to help people as well. And he's also a Zaz player like myself, and he's also one of the other few Zaz players that really get why Zaz is as good as he is.
So follow him, sub to him on YouTube, and then undo both of those things because he plays Zaz. Gotcha.
Probably should have said that the other way around. So those guys, and if I try and expand it to internationally as well, man,
it's tough, isn't it?
Rich Sticks and his Maxi. I like his way of playing, his thought process. So I'll say him, and Linkors, just because how godly he is, and he also wants Y back.
He does. That is true. I think that's why he plays Grow, because he just wants a bit of the edginess back.
Yeah, I've even been there, man. I've even been there.
I think we've all been there.
Can I also mention Soulcalibur personalities, like people that are not really playing competitively but are still relevant to the scene?
Yeah, sure.
Well, in that case, I would mention Phantasm, just because he's like this other big driving force behind.
Yeah, but he plays Mina.
Who cares? He is one of the reasons why the online tournament series for you even exists, right?
I know, I'm only joking.
He came up with a lot of the concepts we have going right now. And he also invests a lot of work, not only in the EU scene, right, but like the entire Russian competitive scene, for example. Like he also manages the league system they got going on over there, the tournament series they got. Like he is really pushing the scene for us.
Yeah, for sure. Excuse me. Right. So I think that's everything. So let's just close it out now. If nobody else has any more questions, but we are closing in on 3 hours. When I did originally tell Andy that this would be an hour to 45 minutes to an hour, but
yeah, I've got some explaining to do to the missus for this.
I mean, you can't stop the hype train, Andy. You can't stop the hype train.
No.
So I just want to say thank you to everybody who came through, everybody who's watching, who was watching and had to go, and everybody who asked questions. Like I said, we are doing this for you. So if you have any suggestions for any future concepts, any suggestions for the podcast, let us know in the EU or UK Discord, or drop myself or Baddy a DM on Twitter or Discord and let us know. I want to say thank you to Andy for coming on, for being the first guest on our podcast. Tell us your handles, do a bit of plugging if you want to, your Twitter, Twitch, or whatever it is.
Yeah, sure. Wanted to mention as well that it's probably common knowledge, but just in case, I do run the Zaz Discord, and I've put a lot of time and we're into it to try and make it as accessible and not annoying notification, as possible. To really make it user friendly and informative. So, if you're not a part of the Zaz Discord, please come and join it. I have a full Zaz move breakdown, and I'll be updating that for season 2. And when I'm doing my entire labbing day, there's a channel, the lab discussion, where we're just going to be going ham with all the new finds. So anyone listening, watching, to get your Zaz take and Zaz stuff, please go and join in and talk to us and make our character even more broken as he already is. Pretty much. And yeah, also sign us Y pension. Andyroo SC is my PSN, and Twitter is the same as well. That's it for me.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And Baddy, same for you.
Well, if you like the standards and the quality of the stuff Soulcalibur U puts out, don't follow me. That's a bad idea. I use my personal Twitter account for personal stuff. That means I'm like 90% of the time a shithead. But if you want to do it anyway, you can follow me on @Yami_Baddy.
Cool. That it?
Yeah.
Cool. Perfect. And as for myself, Dannerai Twitch on Twitch. I'm very close to being to keeping my promise to my community to doing a 24-hour stream. So if you want to see that, it will most likely be a 24-hour stream of season 2 changes on Monday and Tuesday. And Dannerai on Twitch and Dannerai Twitch on Twitter. Apologies. Also on my personal Twitch page is my link to my Discord if you want to come in and chat to me about stuff, if you want to meme, whatever you want to do. Channel is open, or the Discord is open, and the channel is there. So once again, thank you everybody for coming along and watching. Thank you to Andy for being the first guest on our first podcast. Thank you to Baddy for allowing me to host these and putting all the scenes together and stuff like that, and for filling in for Arpia because he's busy doing some tournament or something, I don't know. And I think that's everything. So next week, we'll be back Friday, same time, 8 p.m. We're not going to reveal who's on next week. We're going to keep you in some suspense, but it will be announced on the Soulcalibur EU Twitter, so make sure you stay following that. And also, on Sunday, we have another round of the Soulcalibur EU weekly tournament, which will be going on from what time, Baddy?
The tournament is going to start with the stream at 3 p.m. CET. That is Central European time.
Exactly. So a lot of the matches there will be streamed. The reason why we have the stream up is so that we can showcase everybody from the first matches all through to top 8. If you want to sign up, then I think there are some links that we can put in the chat if I remember. Was there a sign up link?
Yes. Worst case, you can always find the sign up link in the announcement channel on the EU Discord.
Yeah.
But just for you, I'm gonna post it in chat anyway. This is the challenge.
Yeah, and we've also got a Matcherino page as well, which I think is what exclamation Matcherino. What is the command?
That is only working with the Soulcalibur EU Online Tournament Series scenes.
Oh,
Right.
Gotcha. So it won't work on this one. Okay, cool, fair enough.
Exactly.
But yeah, you can find everything on the Soulcalibur EU Discord as well. So make sure to join that. Have we got a link for that as well? Just want to make sure everybody's in the loop. So I'll put that. Okay, he doesn't.
But
want to,
yeah,
it does want to post. But anyway, yeah. Thank you again, everybody watching. Make sure you follow this channel so you get notified when we go live on Sunday for the tournament, and then next Friday again for the podcast, and then the Sunday after that, etc., etc., etc. If you want to see more, let us know. If not, still let us know so that we can move on to other things. But it seems like we've had a really good reception so far, and I'm happy with that. So I can only really say thank you again. And I will see you guys next Friday. And the EU guys will see you on Sunday. So thank you very much, and good night.
Good night,
Peace.
everyone.